Aloha! Welcome, ladies, to day 5 of this astrological 13 sign challenge. I'm so glad you could make it back. And I thought tonight we would start with, any questions that you may have about the last 4 days, but also what's going on astrologically today, because there is actually an aspect that is super intense and it could be affecting all of you out there. So I thought, why not take some of our astrological skills and just dive in to what's going on out there tonight? Before we do that, any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to share?
Oh yeah, I have a question. So let's say I would like to do a chart for someone, but I don't know the exact time of their birthday. So how would you handle this situation?
Have you asked them for it and they just don't know it? What's the
Yeah, they don't know it. Like they know the approximate time,
yeah.
but they don't know the exact time.
Yeah. Okay. So how exact do we need to be with timing? It's pretty important because it moves. So when we think about time and time of birth, what is it actually telling us? And the time of birth, when you combine, it's like the gears of a clock, right? And so the location, the time, and the date match you up to what is with exactly up in the sky at the moment of your birth, right? So what does the time determine? The time determines the sign that was on the eastern horizon at that exact moment of birth, okay? And so having that exact moment is really important. However, how close it is also a big deal. So if it's really far apart, then it's going to be a bigger deal. But if it's closer, not as much. So if you don't know, I often invite people to ask their parents if they don't know their birth time to contact the hospital where they were born. I actually had a client who was born in China, who actually contacted a hospital in China to find out her birth time. Okay, so you can contact the hospital, you can look at the birth certificate, you can contact the parents. And so I would highly recommend that, like, if they want to have the most accurate reading, right? I actually, if they want to have the most awesome reading ever, then you want to look at that time. You want to have that time. Now, we are learning that muscle testing is pretty powerful for this. And so I've had people muscle test the time for a person's time of birth. Now, that's not going to be as exact as, say, calling a hospital. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on how accurate your testing is, right? But it is important. It's not something that's like, oh, whatever, like we can just do their chart, right? It is so important because it changes the sign that is their ascendant. Do you notice how important that ascendant was? Do you kind of sense like, wow, that first energy like sets the stage. It's like the beginning of everything, right? So the time is super crucial, super important. If they don't know, contact the hospital, contact their parents, check their birth certificate. And if all of that fails, right? They can't get a hold of the hospital, they can't get a hold of the birth certificate, their parents don't know, right? What do I do? Try muscle testing. And I'm actually going to be including a module on energy clearing and muscle testing in my course that I'm going to be teaching pretty soon here. So that's something to consider. And for those of you on the call who just went through the masterclass I was in, learning energy clearing, you already have muscle testing down. So that's a really cool thing that you can do for yourself and other people. Okay. So does that answer
Great,
your
thank
question?
you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Lynn, go ahead. She's had this question all day. I know it. She's just been like ready to ask it all day. What's your question?
Yeah, I was just looking up, I've been just doing the research on the side, learning all the signs, and then like other symbols. I came across the black moon Lilith,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and I just
Oh
was so drawn to that. I'm so curious, but I don't find it in my sign. I mean, in my chart.
I
Is
don't
that
have it on our charts.
okay? But is it
It's
is
there.
it something? Okay.
It's something, all right. Okay, so what is Lilith? And this should be mentioned because we're all women, and so Lilith is something. So in astrology, Lilith is an asteroid, and Lilith relates to it's a biblical story. It relates to Adam and Eve. And did you know that in biblical scripture, Adam actually had a wife before Eve? Yeah, they don't talk about this. And that wife was named Lilith. However, Lilith didn't want to obey some decree or command or idea that Adam had for her. She didn't want to do it. It didn't feel right. It went against her intuition. It didn't feel like a good thing to do. And I forget the specifics. You can research it more if you want. But she said no. So Lilith, especially the black moon of Lilith, represents kind of like that divine feminine force of Kali that's like, no, right? And so it can point to places in our chart where we can be a bit strong, kind of like the buck stops here. And so if we have that point in our chart aspecting a person or the planets in the sky currently, we can get kind of intense about our no. You know, like sometimes we're really good with boundaries and saying no. And sometimes we're like too good, right? Like there's a balance here between like really good boundaries and also like extreme boundaries where you're like, okay, maybe I'm being a little over the top today or a little bit, you know, rebellious. You might say, I'm not going to do that. So Lilith can point to that part of us that says no. And whew, I can tell you all that I finally found out where my Lilith was, what sign it was in. It's actually in Aquarius, which is the sign of the community and the like collective and technology and the electrical system. And I found that I really love connecting with other women around gaining back our independence, right? Like gaining back our power and like standing up for what feels right and true for us. And I was like, oh, no wonder my Lilith in Aquarius would illustrate that, right? It's like the buck stops here. We're going to stand up for ourselves. We're not going to take, you know, we're not going to take any other BS. Okay, we're here. We're here to be strong, right? As a collective, as a divine feminine collective. And I was like, that explains a really lot. So we do have Lilith in the charts that I sent to you. And so tonight, since it came up, since those asteroids, you know, I was living in San Francisco a number of years back, and I was getting into astrology. I kind of sold my first astrology session. I was a nanny, and I upsold my services to her as an astrologer, which was hilarious. And I wrote her up a whole huge report. I remember I just painstakingly put so much time and energy into it. And during that time, I literally discovered all these books at this great San Francisco bookstore. I was just like learning so much about astrology. And one of them was called the Asteroid Goddesses. And there is a grouping of several asteroid goddesses. And I will share them on screen now as we get into today's chart. So glad you're all here. I just have to say, like, I'm so excited for what we're doing and coming together like this. It's powerful, isn't it? Something powerful about coming together with other women in the spirit of learning, in the spirit of finding our purpose that is just so deeply powerful. So I want to share the screen with you real quick, and I want to share with you this grouping of asteroids known as the Asteroid Goddesses. And this is today's chart. Okay, so the Asteroid Goddesses, and there's a lot on here, starts with number 1, the way over here. We'll start with Vesta. And so Vesta is this flame shape. And it's good we're doing this because I know a lot of you are like, what are the asteroids? My chart has all these asteroids on it. And you know, I think I left the asteroids on it because I'm fascinated by them. I'm absolutely, I love the planets. Don't get me wrong. It's really kind of like the filling, but the asteroids are kind of like the decorations, right? They're beautiful and they really enhance. Like if astrology were a cake and the sun and moon and planets were like the cake, and then, or the 4 pillars were the cake, and then the sun and moon and the planets were the filling. This would be like the decoration of the cake, right? It makes it beautiful. It adds so many like nuances, different vibrations to enhancing the energetic system of what we're looking at. So Vesta is one of the first asteroids I learned about, and Vesta relates to the Vestal Virgins. You've ever heard of that concept? They were a group of goddesses or I'm sorry, they were a group of women who were trained as priestesses in a temple where they tended the Vestal flame. And that flame represented their spiritual fire, their connection to their purpose, their connection to, you know, that flame of passion towards the spiritual connection, right? And so if you're super spiritual, you're super motivated to connect to your purpose, you may have a strong Vestal influence in your chart. Like you might have been a priestess, you might have been someone who lived in a temple or were a nun or lived in a convent, and you dedicated your life to your purpose of connecting to God, right? Connecting to something higher. And so Vesta in the chart can relate to where someone is really passionate, you know, by the sign and by the house. What is someone really passionate about? And that's Vesta. So that's number one of the asteroid goddesses. And what I learned in that book was that these asteroid goddesses I'm sharing with you represent sort of like a higher octave or a higher consciousness on the planet. Whereas the planets represent sort of the energies we've been going through. They're kind of more static. They're kind of a little bit more stuck in their ways of being. The asteroids represent a higher consciousness and vibrational possibility for the planet to grow into. And so I love them. They're wonderful. I'm glad you're asking about them. So Vesta is one. Then we have Juno, and Juno is the one with the, you know, all the different things at the top that calls an asterisk plus a cross. And Juno represents the goddess Hera, who was the wife of Zeus in the Greek pantheon. So it represents the wife energy, the energy of being a wife, right? It's a very feminine energy. It also represents in a man's chart his ideal wife. And in a woman's chart, it can represent her ideal marriage partner. It really relates to marriage. Not just attraction, not just sexuality, not just, you know, compatibility, marriage. And what's different about marriage, right? It's a commitment, it's a contract, it's kind of binding. And so Juno really represents what's the type of person that we might feel comfortable getting bound with, like connected to on this deeper level. And I found it to be really descriptive of the type of people that we're end up being really attracted to, especially for women, because we're like, oh, I could have that commitment with them. Right. So today, Juno is in Leo, which could point to feeling desirous of a union with a partner who's very expressive, very playful, very joyful, very childlike collectively. Maybe there's a collective desire for romance right now with Juno and Leo, Leo ruling the fifth house of romance and children. So there could be a lightheartedness around wanting to be near children, connect to romance, all those kinds of things. So that's Juno. So we have Vesta, the flame, Juno, marriage. Then that brings us to Lilith. Oh, Lilith. Oh, Lilith. Wherever we have Lilith or wherever Lilith is aspecting, that can be an intense vibe. Like we might find we get into more fights, or we might find we get into these standoffs where it's like, I have to stand my ground, right? Like you kind of have to put up a certain amount of, this is my truth, and this is what I am going to do. Right? So there's times like that in our lives. Tonight, Lilith is in Virgo, which is health, and it's healing, and it's conjunct the midpoint between the sun and the moon. So very interesting, Lynn, that you bring that up, because that means, what is the sun-moon midpoint? We haven't really talked about this, but I will include it in our 6 steps to evaluating and finding purpose in our astrological chart. So sun and moon midpoint relates to that point directly between the sun and the moon, directly in the middle. And so in some ways, it's like a third sign. It's like the combination of sun and moon. And I almost think that that is even more powerful sometimes than the sun and moon separately, because it's like the merging of those two forces within your chart. So would everyone like to learn what their sun moon midpoint is tonight? It sounds like would probably be really beneficial, right? To learn that kind of deep core vibrational energy that you vibrate, right? We have the sun, we have the moon, but how do I unify those energies in me? The union of your solar masculine principle with your lunar feminine principle. And so that union of sun and moon is conjunct by 2 degrees the asteroid Lilith tonight. Well, what does that mean? Oh, goodness. Ah, woo! At a deep core level, sun and moon midpoint, we are being asked to look at, when it comes to health and when it comes to being a healer, where does the buck stop, right? The buck stops here. What is coming up for you around things that are like, it stops now, this is enough? There may be something coming up in your life that you're like, okay, I have to change this. This has to shift. I'm going to put up boundaries for this. I'm going to state my yes and my no very clearly. It can also relate to feeling rebellious around health and healing. Like, I don't want to do what anyone tells me to. There can be a certain amount of rebelliousness. Like, I want to do what I want to do, right? You're like, how many times have you felt that way? It comes up, right? Sometimes we're more teachable, we're more flexible, I can do what we, tonight there may be a sense of like, this is what I think, this is what I want, and we're gonna be very clear about it. So that'll be fun to play with, right? Especially when it comes to health, when it comes to healing, you'll be very clear about what you want and what you need. And wherever you have this Lilith 43 degrees of Virgo, that will be where it will activate in your chart more specifically. Okay. So far now. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I just wanted to comment that my Lilith is conjunct to my sun moon midpoint in Virgo by 1 degree. So I'm kind of chuckling as you're talking. I'm like, oh, she's talking to me.
I was wondering who I was talking to. I was like, someone out there is really resonating with this. And it makes sense, right? It's that powerful sense of like, this is who I am. And if you have that in your natal chart, Angelique, it's going to mean you're really clear on who you are. And you're not going to let anyone, ain't nobody going to tell me, right? Ain't nobody going to tell me unless I feel it myself. And I applaud that. And sometimes we need to learn how to be better students, right? And like, it's a balance act. Like, we don't want to give up ourselves. That's kind of what Lilith is saying, right? She was that feminine energy. She married this man, Adam, the first man, right? And she didn't want to give up her truth for him. Can anyone relate to that? Like, how core of a feminine challenge is that related to the men in our lives, or, authorities in our lives, or people on those different levels? So it's very powerful energy. That's so amazing. How many degrees of Virgo is it?
The Lilith?
In your chart.
Lilith is in 19 degrees of Virgo and the sun moon is 20.
Okay. So, interestingly, this point here, the vertex, which if the north and south node of the moon are considered a destiny point, there's a third destiny point, and that's the vertex. You guys are getting so many secret little gems tonight. I hope you realize this. Like, tonight's class, we're getting you some really amazing gems. These are like the beautiful roses on the top of the birthday cake, what you're getting right now. These are like the beautiful roses. So the vertex is a destiny point. It's powerful for chart comparison, especially for romantic partnerships. If your vertex activates someone's sun or moon or midpoint, watch out. They're going to feel like destiny. They're going to feel like, oh my God, we got something going on here. They're relationships that are difficult to want to end, right? They feel like they mean something. They feel like there's a reason for them. Right? And so that vertex is 3 or 4 degrees away from your Lilith and your sun moon midpoint. So that could mean some kind of fated happening. right? That could mean something is happening for you around your identity, right? If the sun moon midpoint is your identity, and Lilith is like your strength of standing in who you are, no matter who comes or what challenges arise, then this could be a pretty fated, powerful moment. And I'm just laughing because you've been telling me like something's coming. And I'm like, I wish I didn't know you'd been telling me that, because I'm just like, it's just crazy how accurate like these charts are for people again and again, again and again. So what do I do, Lotus? How do I prepare for that? Well, the best way to prepare for these astrological moments, when you know that there are powerful things aspecting your chart, is to trust and to just be open and to just listen and just kind of go with the flow and really like, okay, what is this here to teach me? How can I grow from this, right? Who am I? What does this show me? And just trust that it's all unfolding for your highest and best good. Yeah. And which house is it in?
My vertex or
Your sun moon midpoint and your Lilith.
in my second house.
Okay, that's money. So maybe you're about to open the door to some kind of fated happening where money is going to start rolling in.
Well, it's funny because I was just talking to my boyfriend before this call, and I was just telling him how I experienced a major shift today in my target audience, or like who the people I want to work with. And I basically almost said, like, I drew a hard line. Like, I don't want to just pigeonhole myself to this, and I don't want to work with this, and this is who I want to work with instead. Like, I literally, like, half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, was just telling him this, how I came to this conclusion today to change my my demographic of who I work with. So
we didn't plan this. I can't believe you're saying this right now. Actually, I can believe it. I can believe it, but it blows my mind. I can't. Wow. So
yeah, that's why I thought I'd share it, because I thought you get a kick out of that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So real time astrological proof of how accurate this map is for every moment of our lives, right? Not just to read our birth chart, but on the daily. Like, you can open up that chart and look at your life events. Look at what happened to you, and then look at the chart and see, oh, what planet is affecting which planet in my chart, right? So she has her Virgo over here in the second house, right? So we're basically saying, oh, well, today's chart, that Virgo energy is affecting her here, because we know what sign she has on her second house, and we find the matching sign of the day and see, oh, well, what is it doing in there? And it looks like you have Venus aspecting your first house, which could mean having a sense of more love and compassion for your identity and who you are.
Which one's Venus?
It's
the green?
Right here in green and in this chart.
Oh, and that one. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. How many degrees of Virgo is your second house? Can you tell? Is it like a lot of degrees of Virgo, or in the beginning of it? I can look at your chart. Got it. Okay, so here we go.
I don't mean to hijack the class. I just thought it was so cool, because I was like, I did just draw that line in my business about who my clients will be. And I'm
You
like, well,
are not hijacking anything. I have a very strong Lilith in my chart. And if I feel hijacked, you better believe I would put my foot down. But I don't. So we're good. No, I find this fascinating. When I teach classes, y'all, I really like to follow the thread of what's happening. You know, like, I have a plan, but like when I taught yoga classes and now teaching this, it never goes the way I planned. So I've just kind of given up and just love to go with the flow. Yeah. So it looks like the Venus today, which is about 10 degrees of Venus, would be right between the first and second house of your chart, probably in your second. And Venus is the sign of money. It's the planet of the billionaire, okay? So wherever you have Venus in your chart is a really good place to look for wealth, knowing what type of wealth you would best create, right? Where in your life might money really come in? Not just like, you know, you have a job, you do work and you get a salary, but where would the big money come from? So yeah, really interesting, Angelique. Look at how you have Lilith right there near the cusp of your second house. So making money, you have a very strong stance on how you will make money. Right? You're not going to just do any old thing. Like you have a strong sense of who you are and what's right for you. Amazing. That's really cool. Wow. Whew. All right. Way to go, everyone. Good energy. Good energy tonight. So would anyone like to, let's see, we're going to continue on here with tonight's chart. The 10th of November. Is today like a holiday? Is it like Veterans Day or something? Does anyone know? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everything was closed. And I was like, what's going on? It's like, it's the day 5 celebration. Everyone closed down to celebrate our 5-day challenge, right? So coming back to the asteroid goddesses, opening too many loops. I want to complete this one. We talked about Vesta, the Vestal Virgins, the place where we feel dedication towards our path and our purpose. Juno, our marriage partner who we're attracted to maybe marry. Okay. Then we come to Lilith, right? Which Angelique like really just illustrated really well. She put her foot down. She took a stand. I'm not going to put up with no BS. This is how I want to have it. And so wherever you have that in your chart, what house will depict where you put your foot down. And in what sign will depict how you put that foot down. I'm just like laughing because mine is in the 5th house of romance. And I do. And children. I can be real strong with the people I'm in a romantic. It's fun. I got to be careful, right? I'm like, this is where I stand. Okay. Watch out. That's funny. Oh boy. All right. So the next asteroid that's in this grouping of what is called the asteroid goddesses is, where is she? Got Vesta. Oh, here it is. Ceres. Ceres. Ceres, or Demeter. Demeter. In Greek mythology, Demeter was the goddess of the harvest. She was like the mother goddess. She was actually the earth. Demeter is the earth. And so she is in charge of creating all the life on earth. Okay. And so wherever we have Demeter or Ceres, they call it Ceres, there's 2 names. We are really good at nurturing people. Right? So by whatever sign and whatever house Ceres is in, we're really good at nurturing and nourishing the people around us. So for instance, I have my Demeter in Leo in the 11th house of society. And so I'm really good. Remember last night I said I'm a creativity coach here to inspire all the Leo creative people out there to step up and shine. Well, I have Ceres in Leo, which is nourishing and nurturing people's creativity and their desire to shine. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab someone else's chart to show this example with. Let's see where Sophie has her Ceres. There we go. All right. So Sophie's Ceres is in. Sometimes I like sing a little song in my head so I don't go crazy when I'm looking for the planets or the points. So there you got it.
7th, right? 7th
Seven.
house?
7th, 8th.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, you have so many in the 7th. Oh my goodness. So you're really good at nourishing people's consciousness, higher-mindedness. You're really good at nourishing people's sense of freedom, their sense of independence, their sense of wanting to expand. Like you're someone who says, go travel, go see the world, right? learn new things, taste new vistas. Like you're always going to be encouraging people to just go farther, learn more, expand more. That's how you nurture people. And you also, it's in the house of partnership, are very good at nurturing your partner. Your partner might also be extremely nurturing to you because it's the house of the other, the house of the relationship partner. And you also might be good at nurturing couples. Like you might really nourish other couples. Like you might really encourage them to be free and independent, but also like, oh, I really value the two of yours relationship. And I really value that you are in such a great relationship. And you might really value and be good at nourishing one-to-one connections, right? So whenever you're in a one-to-one situation, because it's the house of partnership, you're really good at nourishing that bond between you and another person. Yeah. And it's conjunct your Mercury, so that would mean you're good at nourishing, you're a nourishing communicator. You help to nourish other people through the way that you speak. And you can also nourish people to feel safer to communicate, which could mean why people always tell you way too much.
That's true.
Yeah, with so many planets in the 7th, I bet people are just coming to you like crazy to have you hear them and listen. And you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, totally.
The 7th house is really good for marriage family therapists. But because you have Sagittarius there, you're probably a bit of a free bird and you probably wouldn't want to be tied down to like a practice. Maybe you would, but you're really good with working one-to-one with people in whatever capacity that's going to be. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Lotus.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Angelique, go ahead.
Just looking at her chart where this the Ceres is there. I think you just answered my question, but is that considered in Sagittarius or Capricorn?
Right? I know it gets confusing. What I always look at is that area there, and that will tell us what it is.
Oh, that one. Okay, thank you.
Whereas this, it's static and it's always the same, but sometimes there's so many signs that they'll do this little line thing. And so, Sophie, just to help you be clear about this whole area is your 7th house. Okay. And then right here is your 8th house.
Okay.
Here is your 9th house. And this is your 10th house.
Okay.
A little bit different. So it actually puts your midheaven in the 8th house, which would mean that you're very deep. You're very good at investigation and mysteries, and it's actually the house of astrology. So you could probably make a good career with astrology, especially because your Uranus, which is the ruling planet of astrology, is conjunct, well, it's in the same sign as your midheaven and in the same house. So you'd be really good at doing a business that involves deep transformational work with people. But, what's that?
I just said, wow, I find it fascinating.
Right? I know. It just doesn't stop. It just
Crazy.
keeps going. I know. How is it possible? So cool. I'm glad I could clarify that for you because I think I didn't even read that properly when we worked together. So I wanted to clarify. And it can slip past you, right? Because it's just like, okay, that's 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Oh, that's your 9th house. Like, how is that the 9th house? But because the 7th house is so large, that's what's going on there. Yeah. Any questions?
What does it mean when like in my case, the 11th and the 12th house are empty?
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah,
have
what is that?
a meaning?
It means you have a blank canvas and that those areas of your life are not as affected by a planetary energy. In some cases, that's nice. You kind of have more freedom. It's like getting the wild card. What do you want to make them into? So when they're empty, then you look at the sign that is above them. For instance, here is Aries. And so Aries, of course, relates to leadership. It relates to being a pioneer. So you would be a leader and a pioneer in groups of people and in your community and in the larger world at large. So, you know, then you would say, okay, we have Aries there, being a leader, being a pioneer. I want to know more. Well, what sign rules Aries?
Mars.
Yeah. So then we would go on over to find Mars. And you have Mars and Virgo in the 3rd house. And so that would be leading people through communication and health.
Okay.
So maybe talking about certain things that are healing, things that will help them, things that will serve them, talking and communicating about it with groups or with society, or that could be even social media or YouTube or anything like that. That's a start. And then you would look at Taurus. Okay, Taurus, what planet rules Taurus? So essentially, if the house is empty, you look to the sign that's on the outside edge, and then you ask what planet rules that sign. Yeah. So
Okay.
Mars and Venus. And so you'd look into, okay, what is the 11th house with the Mars energy, and what is my 12th house with the Venus energy, right? And you have Venus in Scorpio. And so you would be, and this is the house of being internal and going within and like deep contemplation and meditation. And the ruler of it being Venus, and your Venus being in Scorpio, would mean that you're super deep. Like when you go inside and you meditate, you go very deep. Very, very deep. And it also could mean that you could make money, Venus being the planet of the billionaire, through meditation, through processes that connect you and others to their deep subconscious. You see how I just did that? You wouldn't expect to do that, right? You just see Taurus on the 12th house and you stop there. But this is more like investigative astrology, where you just keep asking, okay, what planet rules it? Where is the planet? Where do I find that planet? And this is like super advanced astrology reading that I'm teaching you. Like your ability to read charts after this week, like it's going to be pretty amazing. I can already feel your gears turning and you're starting to get it. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Of course. I know that's one of the most popular questions I get all the time. If there's no house, am I okay? Yes, you're okay. It's just it's a different way to play the game, as they say. Okay. Go ahead, Karen. Gotcha.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize my hand was still up. I had the same question back that Angelique had about how the 7th house was so
Oh,
big and how did we figure that out. So it's all answered. Thank you.
Oh, good. Awesome. I love when I get multiple questions answered at once.
First.
Awesome. Good. Okay, go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, not sure how to ask the question, but I'm trying to see if I'm like following the, I guess,
Steps.
the rhythm of
Yeah.
how to do it. So first it's like, okay, I'm finding, for example, the moon. So then do you first see what sign the moon is in?
Yeah.
And
That's
then
the first step.
the house.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I kind of go back and forth like a seesaw, like, okay, it's in this house. Okay, it's in this sign. And I kind of wiggle. Yeah.
Okay.
If
Okay,
you're
and then
talking
just
about rhythm, it's like, It's like really just kind of tuning into which one I feel in my body is like more poignant in the moment.
Okay.
Okay, like for Sophie, okay, her moon is in Gemini. Okay, that means she's super into learning and communication, and she's got two sides to herself, right?
Mhm.
Oh, but it's in the first house, which is being singular, right? Being the I am. So she might have a lot of strength in her identity around being a communicator, around being a learner, around being emotive with her learning. She might learn really well through her emotions.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah, I think I was it was a little confusing how because each house has a sign
yeah.
also.
Uh-huh.
So that's where yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
intertwinedness.
Yeah, and the way that I keep myself really clear is I always remember, okay, what are the ingredients to reading a chart? I always keep my structure in mind.
Mhm.
And so, what does it take to read a chart? The signs. Okay. The planets, the signs, and the houses.
Mhm.
Those three things you're going to come back to over and over again. The aspects is a whole nother layer, okay? They're like a whole course into themselves, really. As you can see, they're pretty complex, but as you can see, the red lines are going to express like challenge or intensity, and the blue lines are going to represent more ease or flow. Good questions. Go ahead, Sophie.
Yeah, I've been having the same struggle as Lynn because I did some research on my Chiron today because I was curious. So I have my Chiron in Virgo and in the 5th house. So I would look up Chiron in Virgo and Chiron in the 5th house, and what is like causing me to struggle is like connecting the two aspects. So
Yeah,
like yeah. So
yeah,
Chiron in the sign and Chiron in the house.
and there's a third layer, which is what planet rules that sign that it's in. Luckily for you, Chiron rules that sign. So it's like now you come back again. Okay, well, now it's just looking into what are the energies of the planet, right? You want to look into what does Chiron represent? What sign is it in? What house is it in? Yeah, because that's the picture. You're learning the picture. And the next level is, okay, what aspects or relationships does it make to other planets and signs? But that can come down the road, right? Because there's so much. There's so much with just the first step, isn't there? And especially you're just learning astrology, right? One of the biggest hurdles really is memorizing what does each planet energetically represent? What does each sign energetically represent? And what does each house represent? It's kind of like the gears of a clock. And those three gears are constantly rotating to create an image or create a vibration or a nuance of those three things. And then you can add in the aspects. That's another level. Okay. Try not to go too fast with the aspects. Try and just get planets, the houses, and the signs to start. Good questions tonight. Love it.
Thank you, Lotus.
Yep. So I just want to finish the asteroid goddess list that we started for the back and forth here. Is everyone finding the asteroid goddesses kind of interesting? they're supposed to relate to the feminine energies on the planet and how they're ascending into greater prevalence, right? Greater equality on the earth. So far we've studied Vesta, Juno, Lilith, Ceres, well, we could throw in Chiron, right? As kind of that, not so much goddess energy, but the depth, kind of like the depth of a chart, right? We all have sometimes have a deep, dark night of the soul. Well, Vesta would be, I'm sorry, Chiron would be kind of that type of energy. Okay, any questions about the goddesses, the goddess asteroids that we've gone over so far? All right, so I want to show you an aspect that's happening tonight. It's kind of powerful, and I thought we should know about it. There's a lot of energy. So do you notice this is the sun and this is Mars? And notice how close together they are. And we've been in this energy now for days, right? The days ago, I was like, look, sun is with Mars, Venus is with the moon. Well, Venus and the moon have kind of separated. They're not in conjunction anymore. And so it might not have that sweetness. Like there might have been a little bit of a nice balance between the sweetness of the moon and Venus being together, emotion and beauty, and then Mars and Mars being together, like action and soul purpose. But tonight, it's more about that Mars Sun vibe, right? Mars being action, Sun being shining. You might be feeling more in your masculine, which I've kind of noticed, like you're asking more questions, you're being more assertive, you're really like getting out there more tonight. And I just think that's really interesting. And at the same time, Mars is, and this is where we'll learn their aspect, opposing or in polarity to the planet Uranus, the planet Uranus being 19 degrees of Aries over here, and Jupiter being in Aries, and Mars being in Libra. So we have Mars and basically the sun in polarity to Jupiter and Uranus. And like, what does that mean? Well, that can create tension. It can create a battery because polarity is a little bit like a negative and a positive coming together. It's like yin and yang. Every full moon, the sun and moon oppose each other. They're an opposite sign of the zodiac. And so Sun and Mars being opposing Jupiter and Uranus means that there's this tug between our action energy and then sudden unexpected fortune. Whoa, powerful, right? And Uranus is actually astrology. It rules astrology. And it's in the sign of Aries, which is new beginnings and being a pioneer and starting new things. So I cannot think of a better time, more powerful energy activation for our celebration, our finale of this 5-day challenge that we've been doing with each other than to have the energies of Mars be opposed and the sun be opposing Jupiter, be opposing Uranus. And I just want to give a big shout out and celebrate all of you has been here for the last 5 days in a row and just say thank you. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you to Karen and Nola and to Nancy and Angelique. I'm just so grateful for all of you. I made this slide and I was just like, wow, like you're all so beautiful and standing in your power, expressing your truth. I can feel it. And I just wanted to start the call with just really thanking you all. And with this energy of the sun, right, being conjuncting Mars, which is action. Wow. I wonder what kind of powerful action we're all taking in our lives, in our purpose, especially as we go over and we tap in and tune in to what are the 6 steps for revealing purpose. Are you excited about this? Would you like to know how do you find purpose in a chart? Like, how many people do you know who are like struggling out there, trying to figure out their friggin' purpose? And what if you had an answer for them? What if you had a solution? What if you had 6 things you could share with them to paint the tapestry of who they can be, their potential, as the stars from the moment of their birth gave to them? And I'm outside tonight. I'm under the stars. So if you're wondering why I've got a strange lighting shadow background, that's why. But it's actually really nice to be out here. I can hear the crickets, and there's a certain amount of freedom broadcasting outside, right? It's like you're all in different places on the globe, and it's just a beautiful energy. So I want to welcome you all. I'm so grateful that you are all here. So happy. I want to welcome all to day 5 of our 13 sign astrological challenge. And it's just such an honor to be here with you all and sharing this work, sharing the information that has been gifting me huge breakthroughs in my life. Whenever I question, whenever I have doubts, whenever I face the dark night of the soul, this always brings me back out. Always. I mean, it just blows my mind again and again. And I'm so grateful for this work. So welcome to day 5. And today is really about revealing your true self and unleashing your purpose. And the core of it all, whatever astrological information we cover, and I just want to remind you all, the core of it all is love, right? It's love, and it's the desire to connect back to the love that is our true nature, right? No matter where we go, no matter what's happening in our lives, if we can but return to the love within us, we can access the truth. And so this astrological map that we're going to, it's so powerful for feeling that information. So I wanted to share with you a little excerpt of the video. I went on a live call with a friend. She has a YouTube show called Coffee with Kim. And I just wanted to share with you my little intro video so you can see, as you start to get out there potentially, or you decide to study astrology more, the beautiful ways in which you can introduce yourself out to the world.
Coffee with Kim, coming from California, is Lotus Goldcool. Lotus was raised near the California redwoods, and at an early age of 10, she had the influence and instruction of her mother.
Not sure if you can hear it, but just enjoy the pictures.
And being with nature. Now Lotus is an author, healer, and teacher as she now empowers people around the world using her degree in psychology and her many certification in other healing modalities such as yoga, theta healing, conversational hypnotherapy, and using these to help others find their true self. Lotus lives by the belief that all healing comes from within. Join me in welcoming Lotus to Coffee with Kim.
So I have this background, right, in healing modalities, finding the truth that lives within us all. And I'm super excited to share all of that with you tonight. And I started out my astrological journey about age 15 giving readings. And one of the first readings I did with this was with a little girl named Bija. And Bija was just a baby at the time that we did the reading. And my mom and I went in to do the reading because my mom, of course, has been training me in how to do this work. And we talked to her mom and dad. Bija was sleeping in the next room, just a newborn baby. And years later, I was like, hey, you know, how is it? How was our reading? Did you know, like, how is it played out in her life? Because she's about 10 now. No, she's 12. I'm sorry. And they said, after many years, the things that we said, many of them have come to fruition. Okay, their insight and intuition have been spot on. and it's been miraculous to witness firsthand as our daughter. Sidereal astrology, 13 sign astrology, truly follows the rhythms of the moon calendar rather than the Gregorian, and that slight shift seems to hold much gravity and truth. And so what a gift that you're all learning tonight in terms of being able to make an impact in not only your own life, but in the lives of children, right? In the lives of families, newborn babies. So I'm really thrilled to be sharing this with you all. Now, if, you know, if assisting families and your friend is not enough, astrology has been used for thousands of years by the rich, the famous, and the elite. And while I do not agree with J.P. Morgan, who is the founder of Chase Bank, right, very wealthy man, I do think that his statement that millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do, really reveals that next level. That if you really want to be incredibly successful, knowing the astrological makeup of the stars as they are now, as they will be in the future, as they were in the past, as well as what our own astrological composition is, where the planets were when we were born, then it will really behoove you to keep going. As all of these amazing people I have worked with support, getting in touch with your map from the stars unleashes something. Have you been noticing that? Like just starting to tune into your chart, like it's opening doors, it's expanding your consciousness, it's creating this bridge or this map to a part of yourself that may have been locked or shut or closed. It's giving you a bridge to walk towards the center of your being, which is where your purpose is. This is awesome. This is Josette, and I had her come to one of my one-day classes, and she had never followed astrology at all, was totally new to it. And I took about 3 or 4 minutes to just explain just one. And after that 4 minutes, she said, if I had only learned this 30 years ago, my life, her whole life. And after I did that reading with her, her life changed. And this is a current picture of her. And I look back at the picture before we'd done the reading, and I look at this now, and I'm just in awe. I'm just in awe of the shifts I see in her. I'm in awe of how well she's doing. Sometimes we're like seed planters. We do a reading with someone and, you know, they feel something, but maybe something doesn't totally take root. But if you look back later, right, you look back and you see what has happened for them. A lot of times it's like that little seed that you planted when that first session came has now grown and sprouted into this incredible forest, right? This incredible tree of life, this blossom of bounty. And I think that is something I saw with her. And it's just touches my heart. It touches my heart to see what's possible with this work. Absolutely touches my heart. And so I made this wonderful slide. I got together all of your amazing testimonials from the class so far, thanking me for this amazing class and this training, and love that you're loving it. And I was so touched by all the words you all had to say. And it's truly awesome what we've been creating here. So thank you all so much for sharing this wonderful feedback. I love hearing it. It touches my heart, and it allows other people who've maybe never heard of this work, who are maybe unsure about it, to feel a little more confident to check it out, which is so great. And so welcome, ladies, to this, the 5th night, the final night of this 5-day masterclass challenge. And are you ready to start diving into the purpose? How do we find purpose? How do we follow that seashell, that circular spiral motion inside of ourselves to get to our true self? Are you ready to go on a journey with me? So we already went through what is in our stars today. And now we are going to dive deep into our purpose, where the rainbows and butterflies and unicorns live when we're walking on sunshine and everything in our life is flowing with the greatest of abundance and the greatest of ease. So a lot of information out there, and I love what I found here. Astrology is the clock of destiny. Have you ever wanted to have that clock at home where you could actually read the future, and you can read the past, and you can know the energies of the present? The good thing and the powerful thing is, while astrology will tell you information, we are the ones at cause. And no matter what an astrological chart may say, we always have the power to shift and change our destiny. Okay? So whatever your chart says, have no fear, because you can always shift your destiny. All right. So we're going to go into the 6 major points to discover purpose. Okay. And so you can take a screenshot of this. This is what I've found over my 20 years of training to be a really amazing recipe for calculating life purpose in 6 major moves. So your first move is you're going to identify the ascendant and the ruler of the ascendant, and thus what the chart ruler is. Does everyone feel confident about how to do that, or would you like to see a demo about how to find the ruler of the astrological chart?
I feel like I need that, Lotus.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for unmuting and sharing. So the first step I'm going to do is we're going to get out Karen's chart, because I think we learn best when it's our own chart that we're looking at most of the time. And I'll bring that back up on screen. So we're going to look at Karen's chart. What's our first step, Karen? You got to unmute.
To look at the ascendant point?
Yeah. Yeah. So how many degrees? It's 19 degrees of Leo. Okay. So the next step is you're going to ask, what planet rules Leo?
That's the thing I'm the weakest on, is the planets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
So
I
if
know.
the sun rules Leo, then we want to look and see, where is your sun?
It's over there in the, oh, yeah, that's the sun and the moon are both in my 7th house.
That's true.
What
That
does
must
that mean?
be, that means the 7th house is important for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that means really study the 7th house. Diplomacy, partnership, marriage, counseling, the other person. 7th house is all about the other, the marriage partner, who your marriage partner might be like. It might mean your marriage partner is very complex. It could mean you have lots of marriage partners. It could mean there's a lot of layers around that marriage, or it could mean that you're here to do a lot of partnering up with community and individuals on a pretty deep level. It means you're not just here to be an individual, right? It means you're here to be an individual and partner with others. Because you can see she has pretty balanced 1st house, 7th house here, right? They're kind of like mirrors, although most of these are asteroids, right? Ceres, Juno, Vesta, and then Pluto. Whereas over here, we got the big hitters, right? We got the filling of the cake, the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Jupiter. We got that super strong planets there. They're called personal planets. So you would write down that your chart ruler is the sun, 13 degrees of Pisces. So that means that that planet is very important to your life.
Because it's in it rules my ascendant house.
Right? So whatever planet rules the ascendant, not just the house, but the actual ascendant, is very important for your purpose, for your identity, for who you are. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
Okay, Lynn, go ahead. Do you have a question about your chart?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But now, maybe I kind of answered myself because it looks like the line is sort of right in between Libra and Virgo. But then I see the symbol and it's 37 degrees, I think, in Libra. So then I would base it off of that and not
There you are.
the way it looks.
All right, let's look at it. There you are. Okay. So the answer to your question is that you're immediately going to go to the AS.
Mm-hmm.
And it says 0 degrees of Libra. And that 37 means 37 seconds.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I know that could be confusing.
That's, yeah, I looked at the wrong one then. Okay, so then in this case, would I look at both? Or yeah, which would be my chart ruler in that case?
Well, what sign is your ascendant?
Is still Libra.
Yep. So you're just going to look at the ascendant.
Okay.
AS.
Okay.
Go straight to that point.
Right.
Ignore
Yeah,
the rest.
just since it's so close to Virgo, would I also look at that?
You could, but here's the deal. Let's imagine we have a chart wheel, which we do. But let's imagine it's a color wheel and not a chart wheel. The very first 0 degrees of a sign, it's going to be like full purple. And then it's going to fade into blue and green and yellow, right? So the first degree is actually the most powerful.
Okay.
Now, if it was the very end of Libra, like really close to Scorpio,
Mhm.
then I would say you definitely want to look at both.
Okay. Okay.
But
That
since
helps.
it's at 0, you can look into Virgo, but it's not going to be the same. Like there's so much intensity of Libra right there. Like it's 0 degrees. That's like full on. In a way, it's a little bit like Aries because Aries is the first sign. And so whenever you have 0 degrees of a sign, it's full on.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
very strong energy.
Okay.
Okay.
And then if I understand correct, because Venus is the ruler of Libra, so that's my chart ruler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So then you would find your Venus and it's at 9 degrees of Gemini.
Mhm.
So you would put my chart for my astrological chart is 9 degrees of Gemini.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like everyone to get out a piece of paper and write down, how to find purpose. And at the top of the page, write my chart ruler is. And go ahead and find what your ascendant is. And then I have a little bonus for you all, which is that I got together this page which assists you in remembering what your astrological chart rulers are. It doesn't have Ophiuchus on it. You'll have to write that one out separately, which the chart ruler for Ophiuchus is Chiron. Some people say Saturn, but I typically go with Chiron. And so here's a nice little list for you for what planets rule which signs. Aries is ruled by Mars, Taurus is ruled by Venus, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, Cancer is ruled by the moon, etc.
I kind of went and like really structured it, so I can share this file that I made. I
Yeah,
can't
go
really see
ahead.
it.
Yeah, go right
Uh,
ahead.
I'll just share it in like Facebook.
Yeah, go for it.
I yeah, read some part of my chart. I was like, yeah, very structured. That's me. So, yeah,
Awesome.
I can share that. It maybe helps to get that
Yeah,
over.
that
Yeah.
probably will. Structure is not my strong suit. I'll admit that. I am like all water. So please. And actually this month is extra water for me. I'm in a water month. I was like, oh goodness. So I'm extra flowing right now. So any structure you want to add, that's fine by me. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the screen. And I want to know if everyone has your, sorry about that. Everyone has your ascendant. Everyone has the planet that rules your chart. Does anyone not know the planet that rules your chart? Everyone's good. I can't see everyone, so if you want to raise your hand, if you would still like to know that, we'll make sure we go and grab it. Okay, so everyone's got the ruler of their chart written out, written down. Christine, go ahead.
Okay, are we supposed to, or as far as like speaking about the rule of our chart, if like my ascendant's in Libra, which means the sun is the ruler of my chart, right? But do I say the sun in the certain degrees in Aries? I mean in Aquarius, which is
Yeah,
where
how do I say what the ruler is of my chart? You can say it one of two ways, and it might be good to do the two ways. One, you can write down the ruler of my chart is the sun. That's really basic. Okay, the sun rules my chart. Good. Number two, you could write down the sun in Aquarius is my chart. The sun in 15 degrees of Aquarius is my chart ruler. And if you wanted to add even more depth, you could say the sun 15 degrees of Aquarius in the 7th house is my chart ruler. Then if you wanted to add even more information, you could write the sun is my chart, the sun in 15 degrees of Aquarius in the 7th house, conjunct Saturn, conjunct Mercury, possibly conjunct the sun moon midpoint is, and Venus is my chart ruler. So then you have all of these other planets that are conjunct your chart ruler, which could mean you got some really powerful energy, right? You got some really lot of planetary energy at work in your astrological chart, which is pretty amazing. And be really interesting to see like how you're gonna utilize all that energy. And it's been in the house of partnership for a good long while. So you might have some real deep stuff to look at around partnership because it's so important for you, right? The chart ruler and all those planets plus Chiron being there. I would really look into healing that 7th house. Like if I were to be like, okay, what do I need to heal in this chart? I'd say look at relationships. Look at past life relationships. There's something there. And since it's an Aquarius, I would say it's probably not only relationships, but community relationships, like big, like universal galaxy relationships, like your relationships to the world. Your relationship to the world, Christine. Yeah, because you're here for a planetary mission. So where in your past lives have you, and I'm seeing like a sci-fi movie in my head now of you like battling some kind of like past life world war of some kind and like all the trauma of like having gone through world planetary conflict and healing that. So that's what I'm seeing.
wow, that's I don't have any words. That's a lot.
I know. I know.
Thank
But
you.
I know you're ready because you're here. And you don't have to do it all in one day.
Mhm.
You just do it a step at a time. And a moment at a time. Step at a time and a moment at a time, and all of us here holding space for you at a time, doing what it does, which is powerful. Universe got you. There's a reason. There's a reason for all of it. Yeah. Cool stuff. Big stuff. So, you know, this work can stimulate a lot of awarenesses, right? Like all of a sudden you're going to be in the chart and you're just going to know things. They're going to come to you. It's really powerful. Okay. So any more questions about finding the planetary chart ruler? Everyone good? Okay. Everyone ready to go to our next destination? All right. Go ahead and identify your sun sign. Go ahead and write down how many signs your sun is, what sign it's in. Yep. Christine, you've got this for sure. 100%. 100%. We wouldn't be talking about this if you didn't. I can tell, like, you're so ready. You're so ready to transform and expand into your gifts. Anything that's not love and goodness is ready to just evaporate like smoke and air. It's all good. Like, we have all been through stuff on this earth in many lifetimes. It's time for a bit of compassion for each of ourselves. It really is. It really is. Okay, so everyone have the sign that your sun is in the house. Okay. So I feel inspired to do this. So I think Carol, you're watching these recordings. So Carol, one of our participants, her sun is 20 degrees of Sagittarius in the 7th house. So that means her sun, right, the biggest planet in the sky, is shining on expansion, travel. She shines when she travels. She shines when she learns and grows and expands new knowledge and higher information. She shines when she's in partnership and relationship with others, right? That's what the sun is starting to show us. Christine, your sun is in Aquarius, conjunct all of these planets, right? So you really shine in the sign of Aquarius: technology, new inventions, community, relationship. Being an inventor, being in relationship to new ideas and inventions that will assist and bring the world into greater harmony and balance. Right? That's a really good way to look at your sun. And then you could bring in all the layers of the different planets and each one. Got a nice little research there just with your own sun sign, girlfriend. That's like it's a beautiful painting. You could do a painting even of all those different energies, right? There's a lot of different energies. Mercury, Saturn, Venus, and Aquarius, the new age technology. It's beautiful. Yola, I know, is here. Her sun is in Aries. Aries is the leader, starts new things, right? Yola and I both have our sun in Aries, so we're both strong leaders. Very powerful, ruled by fire. She has her sun conjunct Jupiter and Mercury and Mars, and so she also has a powerhouse around her purpose. A lot of energy. It's in the 8th house of transformation. Okay. So that's how we start reading the sun, right? And the sun is what sustains us. It's what gives us life. It's what allows us to live on this earth. And so it ranks pretty high in terms of putting it into the recipe of our purpose. Okay. Now I would like you to go ahead and write down what your midheaven is. How many degrees is your midheaven? What house is it in? How many doggies want to crawl on your lap at one time? This is such a cute dog, Angelique. He's like, love me. Love me. You're like, can I love you and write? Yes. Any questions? Is everyone being able to find their midheaven? Any questions about this? Go ahead. Lynn?
Maybe you'll get to it. But yeah, I don't see the IC on the list, and how you were talking about in another class, how, you know, the roots make the fruit. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering why that's not included.
Yeah, well, probably because I wrote this a while back, so I haven't thought about it recently. You can include it or you cannot include it. How deep do you want to go with the person?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are you doing a healing call with them? Are they really struggling? How deep do you want to go? Because once you bring into the IC, I would more include the IC for people who want to do transformational work. So if you're a healer, if you're someone who's going to give them a tool to transform their IC, because as soon as you bring up IC and your roots and your trauma, they're going to be feeling that stuff. So to identify purpose, yes, you could look at everything in the chart. And yes, the roots do create the fruits, but are you just doing this as a reading to give them information and help them get really clear on their purpose? Or are you going to actually transform the blockages in their IC?
I see. Okay.
I see. Because that's why I don't put it on the list, because we can keep it as light or go as deep as we want. Not everyone's ready for the IC, and since you know muscle testing, I would definitely test, is this person ready to deal with their ancestors? Are they ready to deal with their past lives? Are they ready to face that stuff? You know, I don't know about you, but I have some friends who are, and some friends who are definitely not ready. And you can ask them, hey, how deep do you want to go? Do you really want to go deep? Do you really want to face what might be lurking in the basement? Okay. Do you want to face your childhood stuff? Do you want to face your trauma with your family? Do you want to bring those things up out of the darkness? Because that's what the fourth house is. It's that buried place. Sophie's like, well, you know, like it's intense.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of sessions with people where I'm kind of like, wow, should I have shared that much?
Mm.
And so, go ahead,
Sorry,
Sophie.
Lotus. I have just looked up I see in Leo, and it is linked to dramatic childhood.
That's why you were gulping.
Yeah, because
So,
it's true.
because it's
So,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. So you all probably want to put it on your list, okay? Put it on your list. And, you know, since you're all seeming to be very drawn to it, I tend to attract the deep butterflies, not the shallow butterflies, but the deep butterflies, goddesses. You can add it. Okay. I see. Imam Coeli. You know, whew, that makes me nervous, but be responsible, okay? Be responsible. I'm serious, because I have had, this is powerful information. When you mention it, you even just tell the person the sign and what that can mean, it can start triggering that stuff. So are you gonna like assist them with clearing and energy work? A lot of you could. Are you going to refer them to someone who could help them clear out the trauma that could be there, etc.? Make sure that you know that you need to be aware of that. That's all. I'm glad this happened this way. I'm glad. Okay. Has everyone written down what your MC and what your IC are? Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
I see represents.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if, oh yeah, names can go.
So the IC represents the roots, the root system of the chart. It represents your family, your origin. Sometimes I relate it to the womb and the mom, your first home, right? The womb. And it also relates to our past ancestry, our past emotions. I often refer it to the cellar, right? If the midheaven is the sky rise, it's the top of the building, then the IC is like the root cellar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's buried super deep in there. You know, it's for women, it's an important house, right? If it's the house of the mom, you know, and it equates to the womb space and holding space and deep emotion and intuition. The moon, it's sensitive. You know, just be very conscious when you're sharing what people's IC is, as you're helping them find their purpose, to know this is a very sensitive place. And, you know, like it feels like 9 out of 10 people have childhood trauma, like serious stuff. And so if you don't know that and you go into a reading and you start bringing up what's there, it can start triggering that feeling, those memories, that information. And I've definitely had moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just opened something. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, maybe I'll do a healing session with them after that. And I do healing work, right? And so having this other component of my work which is the energy clearing practice that I have been creating my own system for years now, it is really powerful to utilize the IC as a starting place for doing deep healing work. Okay, what sign is here? What planets? Okay, let's clear the IC, right? Let's clear that foundation. Big stuff. And it's a nice way to structure and organize that method of clearing. Yeah. Go ahead, Christine.
Okay, what happens, it looks like on my chart, as far as the MC, I can't tell if it's in the 9th or 10th house. It
Yeah.
looks like it's right on the line. So when something's right on the line, how do we read that?
Yeah. Great question. So with astrology and with these really close things, and good, we have your accurate chart finally, goodness. Yeah, that MC 1 degrees of, it's actually not right on the line. It looks like it is, and so that's where having this magnifying device is really helpful. Because if we go closer, and that's what's cool about doing group Zoom classes online, is we can actually magnify the charts, and it's actually easier to read a chart online than it is in person because of this ability to magnify things. Of course, if you have a computer and you're just using like a screen computer for your readings, that'll be the same deal. Right? But I can see Christine already. She's going to be out doing readings at events and for people and having the time of her life. My word.
This is fun.
It is fun. I know you love it.
I do
You
love
love it. Aquarius rules astrology. So this is your jam. Like you just, good stuff. Right. And it's in the 7th house, which is relating to another person. So you get to relate a technology to someone else. And it's like, yeah.
it. Yeah.
All right. So if we look at your MC here, and we look at how that MC is black and how there's this little teeny tiny black slash here. And then with Jupiter, there's a teeny tiny yellow slash. That tells us that it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks before the line. So that would be fully in the 9th house. It is close to the 10th. So you could read it for 9th and for 10th if you want, but it is in the 9th house.
Okay, wait.
But
I'm sorry. I'm still not getting that. 5 ticks.
before the 10th house line. So this line down the middle
Because it
is
kind
the
of
10th
curves
line.
out a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, so right up here is the black line that relates to the MC. I know it's super tiny,
Okay.
but it's
Even
about 1, 2, 3. See these little ticks up here?
Mhm.
These represent degrees. And so a chart is divided into 360 degrees.
Mhm.
And so it's about 5 degrees away from the 10th house. So
Okay.
it is conjuncted. It's in the 9th house, but it is close enough. It's within 10 degrees to be
Mhm.
aspecting your 10th house. So you can read your MC in the 9th. Well, most people say the MC is in the 10th anyways, so it will relate to career. It's at the top of your chart, right? It's at the top. So I would say that's, you know, your purpose, your gift, what you're here to offer the world. And it's in Taurus, which is very grounded, very stable, very good at sustaining, building projects, earthy, grounded. Also about beauty, building something beautiful. So yeah, then if you wanted to, you know, bring in the IC, right? Whoa, hey, hi there. Sometimes I feel like the chart like goes on an adventure. I cannot believe how many slides I built for y'all in the last week. It was fun. Some of them I was like, those are beautiful.
They are beautiful.
I was like, way to go.
Mhm.
Way to channel. I'm like, I don't know if I built them, but the source did a good job for y'all. All right. Yeah. Okay. So coming down to the IC, which would be opposite your MC. So funny, right? The MC of the party, the MC being the midheaven, the MC being the highest point of your chart. It makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
So your IC is opposite it in Libra, also conjunct the 4th house, but in the 3rd. So that's 9th to 3rd. And it's balance and harmony in your communication and in the home versus a career where you really build stuff. They're both ruled by Venus, Libra and Taurus. So your Venus in Aquarius is what sets it off, right? Look at your MC, look at your IC, then look at the planet that rules each. She's lucky. She's lucky because both her MC and her IC is ruled by Venus. You know, it's great. If anyone overheard our conversation right now, they would be so lost. They would be like, what are they talking about? But it only took, this is the 5th day, 5 days of talking like this and communicating like this for all of you to be nodding your heads with me as though I'm saying something that makes sense, which I am.
Mhm.
But I just want to recognize you all for what a huge achievement that really is, that in such a short time, you're already on it, right? You're already getting it. We never get it. Remember that. With astrology, we never get it. We're always getting it because it's always a new day and the chart will be different every day. Weird, right? Like, can't I just get my chart and be done? No, it doesn't work that way. We're changing. How we see the chart will change too. That's why it's so nice to have your own software to look at your chart every day, to look at the daily chart. You know, you wake up, you have a cup of coffee, you have a cup of tea, look at the daily chart. It's very, I know, Christine, I see it in your future. I see it. All right. Does that answer your question?
Yes, the only thing I want to clarify is that the big black arrow isn't where my MC is. It's the little black line.
No, it
Oh.
just,
Okay.
here's the deal. Yes, the black line shows you where it actually is.
Okay,
The printed planet doesn't always match.
got it.
It's a
Okay.
bit confusing. Like your Saturn is actually right here. See if I can make that bigger. So crazy. So look, oh wait, is Venus blue? Yeah, so Venus is green, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And its green color is right there.
Oh, wow. Okay, I would
Your
never,
Saturn,
I would never have noticed that. Okay.
I know, it's very, very subtle. Your Saturn is up here, but the tick is right here,
Oh, wow.
right? And
Okay.
so, yeah, and then your sun is here. It'd be yellow, right? And this is be yellow or white maybe for the sun moon midpoint. So as you can see it, oh no, this would go to Mercury. And then, yeah, so very interesting. Just a little subtlety there.
Right. Thank you so much. That's
Yeah.
super helpful. Okay.
Who's next? We got so many questions tonight. I'm so loving my job. Okay, who's next? Lynn, go ahead.
Back to MC.
Yeah.
I just want to ask to see if I understand it correctly again, because I think I do.
Yep.
But so for my MC is also in the 10th house, and 10th house is related to career.
Mhm.
Am I right?
Yeah.
But also like time or discipline, structure, success.
Yeah.
So then that's so because it's in that house in career, that's basically okay, what we're gonna offer the world, how we're gonna shine. And then I wonder, okay, so what would that be for me? So mine is in Leo. So then I would go to Leo, and that's about creativity
Mhm.
and I guess performance. So that's how I'm gonna shine. Am I
That's
understanding
the
it
first
right?
step. That's the
Okay.
first step. That's the
Okay.
basic level. You're at level 1.
Right.
Just
Okay.
just starting to grasp what the midheaven energy is representing for you in your chart. And I also have to point out that it's not in your 10th house.
Oh, it's not.
Nope. So here is your 7th house.
Mm-hmm.
Here is your 8th house. Here is your 9th house. Okay, it is 10th. This is your 11th.
Yeah.
Your 11th is tiny and your 12th. Okay, so it is in your
Yeah.
10th house. I was like, what
Okay.
is going on here?
Yeah.
But you have to be really careful because sometimes the houses, it's like a little confusing. And so what I do is I'll count from the 7th. I'm like, okay, this is 7th. I can tell. Okay, this will be 8. The 8th is huge. You have so many planets in your 8th house, Lynn. So that tells me that you're very deep. Your life is going to involve a huge amount of transformation.
Mhm.
A
Yeah, I
huge
was just reading that too, and I was like, whoa.
But it's also where your South Node and your Chiron is. And so this energy of crises and transformation and change, that's what you're growing out of.
Yeah.
Growing away from that. That's like the past. What you're embracing and what you're calling in and what you're bringing in, your destiny point, is in your 3rd house, which is more about communication. And it's about connecting to your community, like going to the library, going to a talk, going and learning a new subject. Like it's really good for you to be learning new things, communicating, and kind of getting out of all of the like toxic, intense, like life or death scenario, like getting back into a more lighthearted flow. If Scorpio is like the emergency room, or the 8th house could be the emergency room, we want to get you back into the kindergarten classroom. Want to get you back into school and learning where it's fun and exciting and it's lighthearted. And it's not so like one thing they say with South Node in the 8th house is like, stop dealing with crises, like stop inviting crises in, like stop dealing with people who are in crises, like stay focused on learning, stay focused on expansion. And and being like more grounded in your everyday life of like your community. You're going to the store, going to a mixer, like be more people oriented and not so much like deep introspection.
Mm,
That
okay.
makes sense. But you're so used to it that it's like you kind of are retraining yourself. Retraining yourself. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Is that helpful? Okay. We didn't finish answering your question. So if knowing your midheaven in Leo is in the 10th house, okay, the next step is to go, what planet rules Leo?
The sun.
Yeah. So where is your sun?
In my 7th house.
Yeah. In what sign?
Taurus.
Yeah. So you have your sun in Taurus in the 7th house. And that is what rules your midheaven. And that's the second level for knowing your purpose. Is not only what sign is on the midheaven, but knowing the planet that rules that sign.
Okay.
So that sun in Taurus being so connected to your midheaven tells us how you shine. It's not that you're necessarily going to fully shine out as a Leo. It's like you're going to shine out in a Taurian way. You're going to be grounded. You're going to love nature. You're going to shine in nature. Like you're going to shine being out in nature with a friend because it's the relationship house. Maybe you're going to shine, making events or weddings out in nature. Something earthy. You're going to build a garden. You're going to have beautiful gemstones, right? It's the Taurian energies are really going to be how you shine.
Okay. Yes. So is that just next level or how come? Okay.
I found that by knowing the planetary ruler for the powerful points we look at, it takes you deeper.
Okay.
And a lot of, my masterclass students can tell you it's all about what over and over again, just like how in our masterclass, did you test it? Test it. In the astrology class, in learning this astrology stuff, it's always what sign is it and what planet rules it? Where is that planet?
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
And it's over and over again.
Yeah. That helps a lot, and it makes it really cool and interesting.
It is, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
why it reminds me of a seashell or like a spiral. You're just always going deeper into the center. Really.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's next?
I just want to know. I have the planet rules on MC, which would be Mars. Yes.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay. This is so different than what I thought. So I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. So in your chart, the MC would be Capricorn.
Excuse me, Capricorn. Okay.
In the 9th house of higher learning, higher knowledge. And so the next step would be to ask, well, what planet rules Capricorn? Does anyone know?
Saturn.
Saturn.
Yeah, grandfather Saturn. Time, discipline, cold. Saturn is kind of cold. It's kind of just factual. It's a law. It's karma. Saturn is the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. What are the facts that are going to allow you to create mastery in your life? It's emotionless, right? Saturn is just very real, very real. Saturn is very real. And so your Saturn, which rules your midheaven, is 5 degrees of Virgo in your 5th house. So 5th house is children, creativity, fun, romance, it's expression, creativity, joy. Here, I'll show you. I actually made all these slides that you didn't get to see yet. I was like, oh, I want them to see the slides. So proud of them. Okay. So if Nancy's dealing with Saturn in the 5th house, it's an interesting combination because on one hand, Saturn is discipline and structure and form and success, mastery. Like you think of all those like Napoleon Hill and the Global Information Network, all that stuff is extremely Saturn. You know, it's very fact-based, okay? It's the quintessential opposite of the moon. Have you noticed that? It's like quintessential opposite of emotional feeling. Not that it doesn't take emotion to create success. It's just, it's usually very masculine how it is taught, typically. So having Saturn in the 5th house. 5th house is creativity. It's big energy, right? It's expression, romance, children, right? This is Leo energy. This is 5th house energy. It's performance. It's expression. It's love, children, music, dance, anything being on a stage. It's your hobbies. It's your joyfulness, right? And so since Nancy has it in Saturn, it could mean making some type of a business, some type of a structure, some type of a system, right? Saturn is structure. Like if you had one word for Saturn, I would put structure. Or the 10th house, right? Saturn is structure, the 10th house in Capricorn, related. So you would be making potentially a structure for children, creativity, self-expression. And then we could add in the next layer, which is that her Saturn is in Virgo in the 5th house. So she might want to make a structure around health and healing for children, romance, and creativity, right? She could create a structure or a business that involves children, romance, fun and expression, health and healing, and balance, right? So maybe making something for children and families, a structure for them to learn and grow and play together, right? And especially as an elder, Saturn relates to age. It relates to being older. And so it's actually you being older could actually be the best time for your career. Not the worst time, but the best time for you to get your wisdom out there.
This is fascinating.
Tell us more.
Well, I've had some ideas and dreams, and in my therapy work, I originally wanted to do working with children, but I ended up with adults. And my first job was actually child abuse and neglect, and it's like, oh, gee, I don't want to do that at all, you know.
Oh, that's
And then so then I ended up with adults, and I thought, well, I guess I'm not going to do adults. And just within this last couple years, because I would always end up, I would include that I could do adults, and once in a while I'd have one, a few here and there, you know. But it was very difficult for me because they were children that were really, really bad off, and I didn't feel like I could really help them because I had no control of the parents. But just recently, before I kind of shut down pretty much my work, just recently I was getting a few children, and they were really beautiful children that parents just needed a little help, like with grief and other parents, divorced parents. And I got out my colors and I let them draw, and it was awesome. They loved it. And I had so much fun. It just didn't even feel like it was work, you know? So I had kind of thought about, wow, if I could just do that more, but I just have no idea how I would go about doing that, because I don't really want to go back into that same structure of the therapy mental health counselor situation. So, but I mean, I already had these ideas, and so yeah, it does fit.
Wow. I'm like tearing up. I'm like, that's so beautiful.
But when you said structure, it's like, no, I don't know. I guess I never saw that, But what I did enjoy doing when I was with the time bank, I really, really enjoyed helping with the structure, creating the groups, and I actually started doing the when the COVID hit. I was the one that said, "Hey, we need to help the people," and we started groups, and we came up with the ideas, and it was really working really well. So I've had these ideas. I just haven't known how to make that happen.
Sounds like you're really
Yeah.
on track with this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this will
Yeah.
help nourish that spark a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so. Because when I think about the idea, I feel excited, And then
Yeah.
I go, oh, but how am I going to make that work? I don't know. Mm.
Well, it's not about the how, right? When your energy is right, the facts don't matter,
It
right?
don't matter.
Nope. And this is a difficult lesson for people in your generation. My mom, especially, she's grew up being taught that the facts matter, right? You got to know that how and why and when and where and what. But how the universe operates is based on energy, frequency, and vibration.
But didn't you say Saturn is really important for me?
It is. And so the how will come. But if your how is getting in the way of your doing, right? How can you utilize what you're good at to build something? You might need to build it.
Mm-hmm.
You might
Yeah.
want to work with someone who's already doing healing work with children and offer your
Mm-hmm.
services as an adjunct.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So
I'm gonna have to connect with others.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably. Because if you
Mhm.
don't know how, that usually means you got to get more information.
Right. And of course, what we're all hearing about from the astrology is that we can't do it alone. You have to, yeah.
Well, from astrology or not, none of us are an island,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So when we work together, we open a lot of pathways that might not have been open otherwise.
Right.
And if you're excited, I was tearing up when you were talking about that. That tells me
When I think about what I was doing with those children, I was so in tune. I loved it. Mm-hmm.
think you might want to follow that. You have Venus in your fourth house of the home, which is creativity and children, which is
I have
love.
always loved children. They always gravitate to me. So
There's a
yeah.
reason. And
Mhm.
your destiny point, which we'll come back to, is an Aquarius in the 10th house. So that means having an Aquarian new age business, having an Aquarian new age career.
New age business.
You might have to
Okay.
do things differently. You might have to
Mhm.
build your own structure based on what you want to create to bring your gifts out to the population you want to serve, which is probably new age children who are very high vibe, who need someone like you to guide them, to just sit with them and help them get grounded and to play with the colors.
Right. Right.
I would trust that.
And then just send it out into the world, like advertise.
Yeah, you could advertise. You could also start working with someone who's already, don't invent the wheel too, right? Find
Mhm.
someone who's doing what you're doing and is successful at it. That's one of the secrets. And if there's
Okay.
no one doing what you're doing, find someone doing something close to what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that is, but I'm sure there must be someone.
What if you like advertise grandma color therapy? Do you have a troubled child who needs to sit down and express themselves? I have over how many years of experience working in this area. I would like to support your family with my work. You could use that case study. You could ask, other people with children, okay, do you need help with them? Get a case study or two, get a beautiful picture of you sitting there coloring with them, put that on your flyer. There's so many parents who are so stressed out, who have children at home, who would love to hire Nancy.
That's
to have
true.
Nancy come in.
Yeah.
People know the
Yeah.
system isn't working, and if you're going to
Yeah.
offer them another solution, they're going to take it.
Yeah. Years ago, I thought on the summers I would do a summer camp for the kids, and that would be really fun.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have to be just summer. It could be
All
any
year.
old time.
They
Mhm,
need
because
you, Nancy.
people because they're busy, they're stressed, they don't have time that they want to spend with their children. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very
Uh-huh.
sad.
It is.
They need the help. I mean, we're supposed to live in tribe. We're supposed to live in community. Parents aren't supposed to be alone with their children all the hours of the day. It makes anyone nuts being alone with a
True.
child by yourself. It's not, children are so multifaceted and they need so much stimulation to grow, right? It'd be great to have you in the community assisting the children. You could go to the rec center. You have a recreation department where you live? Go to the rec
Yeah,
center.
there is. I could try. Sure.
Go say, hey, I'm thinking about offering this. What do you think? Oh, we would love to have you. 6 o'clock in the evening.
And
Have the children, whatever.
I have their credentials too.
You do.
know.
You
Mhm.
totally got this.
Absolutely.
Mhm. So this is the
Wow.
power of the midheaven. We didn't just look
Amazing.
at the midheaven, right? We didn't just say, oh, it's in Capricorn and leave it at that, right? Because it would have just been a very different reading for her. What did we do?
Right.
We looked at Capricorn and we asked the question, what planet rules it?
Okay.
That's where memorizing.
That's the key. That's the
the
key.
key. And so now
Yeah.
the planetary ruler, Saturn. In Virgo, in the house of children. Oh, you love children. Oh, why didn't you say so? Right? I would never have known that with the midheaven in Capricorn, which is old age, it's mastery, success.
Exactly. When I saw that it was Capricorn, I'm going, oh no, this is not good at all. I don't like this at all. But if you pull that into working with children, it's different. Now
It
it's
is.
exciting
Exactly.
and fun. Yeah. And doing paints and sitting with them in story time, Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
Nancy, you got to get yourself out there. There are families and children who are like, let's go. Because these children are so precious.
They
And their
are
parents,
adorable.
they're barely alive working so hard. And they ignore their children because they're so tired. It's not their children's fault. It's not the parents' fault. They just need more support.
Absolutely true.
So
Mhm.
please put your services
Mhm.
out there. The world needs you. please? I hope that answered that question. Now we have many more questions. So anyone else want to go next? Before we do that, are these all questions about the midheaven? Go ahead and unmute whoever was next. I think that would have been Sophie.
Yes, Lotus, I have a quick question. I like if I compare other charts to mine, normally the IC would be on the cusp of the like between the third and the fourth house, and the MC would be between the 10th and the 9th, I think. But in my case, it's like the IC is in the second house and the MC is in the 8th. So is it
Yes.
normal?
What's normal, right? It's actually, to me, it's perfect because we're all like a unique snowflake or fingerprint. And so you're just expressing your unique soul self through the chart. And I'm so grateful that you're expressing it differently, because that tells me that this stuff is real, right? Doesn't it make sense that everyone's chart would be somewhat different, somewhat unique, like their own unique pattern? Like if all the charts were exactly the same, wouldn't that be frankly a little bit disturbing? Like how could that be right, that we're all the same? So I think it's awesome, and it is unusual, right? But it gives you a unique access point for viewing who you are. And so what you end up doing is mixing together. You have a little more work to do in terms of interpreting, because now what typically would just be, you would compare the IC to the fourth house, which is about the home and the family, the DNA, the emotions. When it's in the second house, now you have the energies of the second house, which are finances, material wealth, money, clothing, jewelry, beautiful things, nice things, everything you own physically, plus all those other things: ancestry, home, emotion, inheritance, and DNA. So you have those two things to look into. Plus you have Leo. So I would look up IC in Leo, and then I would look up the second house. And I would look up Leo in the second house.
Okay.
To give you a better idea of the greatest depth of you. So whereas most people have the IC in the house of the home, and we think about it, the home is where we go to go into our greatest depths, right? To go most internal. You might go to your greatest depths and go most internal, perhaps when you go shopping, or when you are doing your finances, or you're doing your banking. You might have a very deep relationship or connection to your material security and safety and your finances, where it's like there's a deep emotional connection to it that other people may not feel as much. It's a little bit like having the moon in Cancer in the second house, because the IC kind of represents the moon and the fourth house, Cancer. The fourth house and Cancer are connected. Here, I'll show you. So let's illustrate this for everyone. So fourth house. The IC is traditionally associated with the energies of the fourth house. That's typically the area of the chart and the energies it relates to. Home, family, emotions, depth, roots, and ancestry. So since it's in the second house, you would look into that. Maybe you feel a deep connection to home through your finances, right? And then what are the things equated with the fourth house? emotion, family, nursing, babies, home, and emotion. Okay, so that's the IC. That's kind of the energies of the IC. I would add in a tree with roots and your DNA spiral to kind of complete that. Okay. Now, since your IC is in the second house, you're going to put together, this would be fun. You're going to put together beautiful things, material wealth, nature, gardening, grounding with home and family. So for you to feel really connected to your internal sanctuary, to nourish your emotions, to go within, you really need financial security, beautiful things, good food, to be grounded, to be earthed. Whereas for other people, they might just be able to do that at home without needing to connect to these areas of the second house. But because the IC is in the second house, it means you're combining the energies of Taurus and Venus with the energies of the moon and Cancer. Because the moon rules the fourth house and Venus rules the second house.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I had a really difficult situation with my parents and my like home situation in the past. So it all like it's crazy that it all shows up in the chart.
Did that affect your finances? Did that affect your feelings of stability and security?
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
And
So if that,
sorry, Lotus.
it's okay.
Go on.
Well, I would just say that if the IC, which is your deep emotional roots and family, and the second house is safety and security, it would make a lot of sense that you know, your issue would have been lack of emotional stability and physical security and safety because the IC is in the second.
Yeah. It's
So,
fascinating, and it's amazing to have it in the chart, to know what to work on and what to heal. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So for you, healing your sense of safety, your emotional safety, that's going to be the roots of your success in your career, is really getting to the base of you feeling safe and secure at home.
Yeah.
You have enough money. Yeah, you have enough food. You have enough basic things to feel really safe. Yeah, wow. It's so cool.
Thank you, Lotus.
Yeah, I just like I've told you all, I have hours of classes and people telling me the same things, and I just it never gets old because it just continues to kind of expand my mind of like, wow, really? Again, it's just astonishing how helpful it is to know this information. Because we've all gone through deep stuff, and to be able to see it in your chart, like, oh, maybe this was kind of planned, that I came into this and that I had to go through this, and now I can heal it because I know what it is. And it gives you a lot of power. It gives you a lot of power to heal. And it's like I told you, it's a map. Such a good map of you, right? Of who you are and where are the challenges and where are the gifts. And a lot of life is just identifying, what do I need to work on, right? And what direction do I need to go? So cool. Yay, I'm so happy I get to share this with you all. It gets a little lonely knowing all this stuff and not getting to share it. It really is like, come on, I want to share this with people, right?
Yeah,
Just
especially sorry.
Go ahead.
One last thing.
Yeah.
especially the Leo in the IC. I've just Googled it, and it's like dramatic childhood with a parent who is competing with the child. So that would be like growing up with a narcissistic parent, for example. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a map.
It is. It is, and it's because it's accurate to the sky.
Yeah, it's so accurate.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
the IC is a sensitive place, right? It's where all this shit went down. Okay. That's like just gonna put it bluntly. In our childhood, in our upbringing, in our ancestry, that's where it all was. And then the Chiron, and then the South Node, and you just start following the trail to find the challenges to release the issue so you can go forwards. Okay, Karen, go ahead.
Can I have a question first? I'm trying to, no, but I'll wait. Go ahead.
Karen was just waiting for quite a minute here, so I want to make sure she
I
gets
just wanted to confirm that she has the IC, which is in Leo, right?
That's right.
Yeah, which is the same as mine, yes. So what
Um,
I was, no, you don't have to answer it now. It's okay.
I think your IC is in Cancer, actually, opposite your MC in Capricorn.
Oh, okay, I see it. Thank you for clarifying that.
I see it. Do you see how we can
Okay.
just keep that
Yeah.
joke going for the rest
Okay,
of the
I see it. I see it. Thank you.
Yep.
I see my IC.
Yeah, right.
I see what? All right, Karen, what can we get answered for you?
Okay, so the MC is our purpose. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the purpose, it's the career, it's
Okay.
that energy, right? Think about it for a minute, if you will. The MC is what is highest in the sky at the moment you were born.
Oh,
The
okay.
highest thing in the sky, up above, shining so bright, like a Christmas tree, like a star on a Christmas tree. I often say the MC is like our second sun. Yeah.
So mine is, this is what I wrote down. My MC is in 8 degrees of Taurus, ruled by Venus in the 9th house.
You got it. Yep. But your Venus is actually in the 6th house.
Oh, I counted wrong. What?
So the way you count,
Venus is in the 6th house. The IC is in the 9th house, but I got
that's right.
I remember now.
There you go.
6th house, got it. But I'm not sure what that means. How to read that. So, because I don't know what Venus. I don't have everything sharp enough to remember what Venus's energy is.
That's the biggest work.
Yeah.
Is memorizing the energies and what each planet represents and what each sign represents. That's the biggest hurdle, really. Once you know that, once you know what each one is, it's like you learn how to tie your shoes, you're riding that bicycle and you're going fast. So we'll just review Venus real quick, and hopefully this will give you a reminder. Right, so Venus is related to everything like second house, really. It's related to beauty. It's the goddess of love. Venus is the planet that represents femininity and womanhood. Right? Get all you taking notes and learning. This is so much fun. I love teaching y'all. This is my passion. To be a woman, actually the ruler of my midheaven is actually in Taurus, which is about beauty, and it's about femininity, and it's about earthiness, but it's in the 8th house, which is astrology's house. So I'm here to ground higher mystical knowledge and dive deep with y'all. And it's my jam. I love this. This is super fun. So what is Venus, Karen? Venus is beauty. Venus is love. Venus is romance. It's like I always see Venus as like this candlelit dinner, the candlelight shining, there's flowers on the table, and put on a beautiful dress. You have beautiful music playing, and you got a delicious meal, and then you have a nice piece of chocolate cake. That is Venus, is that chocolate cake. Right? It's kind of sexy, it's kind of decadent, it's beautiful. Right? That's that Venusian energy of delighting your senses. Venus relates to all of our senses, what we eat, we taste, what we smell, what we feel, right? What we hear.
With Venus relating to my MC means that those Venus-like qualities are what I want to concentrate on as I work on my purpose and my career.
Yeah, I know. You're still working on putting it all together.
Yes,
so
I am.
There's a lot of layers to this. It's okay.
I'm just trying to get a starting place.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. So, well, Venus is all that, right? But that's not the only thing we have to know. We have to know not only Venus, but what sign is it in? And your Venus is not in a very friendly sign to Venus. It's in Capricorn. Conjunct Saturn. It's down here in the 6th house in Capricorn, which is kind of the antithesis of what I just said. Venus in Capricorn is structure, it's discipline, it is hard work, it is stern, it is not concerned with beauty at all. It's concerned about practicality. And does this work? Does this create results? Venus in Capricorn loves to create results. It loves when things are successful, when they work. Right? And so when you have
pragmatic,
exactly. Super pragmatic, super good at coaching people towards success, right? You would be a great coach around really practical, like for success, right? Success principle, because it's very much, doesn't care about the frilly outside coding. It's not about feeling good. It's about getting the job done. It is about achieving what it is that you set out to achieve and climbing the ladder and the mountain to success. So studying the success principles, studying Napoleon Hill, studying what it takes for someone to truly be successful is going to be how you shine with your career. And since it's in the house of health and healing, you might be able to really help people get a structure in place for their health, right? Like a structured program for them for healing. A lot of people, especially people who are sick or struggling, are totally unstructured. They have no routine. They have no discipline. They don't have anything they're doing repetitively. And they're just kind of shooting, here and there to try and fix an issue. And so where you could come in is with a really practical, pragmatic, down-to-earth structure and approach where you take in the information of their issues, their challenges, and what they're dealing with, and you lay out the ground rules. You lay out, hey, this is where you're at, and this is what you need to do to feel better. X, Y, Z, and you're going to do it this many times, this often. And so you're just laying out the structure for achieving the success for that person. And it really feels like, because this is in the house of the body, and it's in the house of health and healing and being of service. It's also plants and animals. That you could really, with a lot of love in your heart, create a very strong structure for healing. For women, especially because Venus is the feminine. So maybe you would work with success-oriented women to create success in their health. Are you healing? No? Well, guess what? I have a plan and a structure and a system in place for you.
Yeah, that really resonates. Especially
And it,
the part about laying out the ground rules X, Y, Z and doing it this many times and this often. That's the same thing as learning a cartwheel. You're going to go do 10 of those on the line, and when you master the line, you're going to take it to the low beam, and then it goes to the medium beam, and then the high beam, and then you graduate.
yeah. So you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's just taking what you've already been doing and building those structures for success for people and building them for your clients now. You're going to need this many sessions with me. You're going to need to clear this many blocks. Get the plan for them. If you can give them a plan and not just be a healer that is like, okay, you know, I can do this. You know, we'll just do a session here, a session there, we're gonna do 10 sessions. But if you can give them a plan and a protocol to follow, and you can take them from the low beam to the mid beam to the high beam, they're gonna soar. And so then you can have your results, you can have your testimonials, you can build your portfolio of your successes. Then you can share them. Kind of like you've watched me do over the last 5 days, right? Every day I'm sharing with you a success. Why? So that you can see this works. So that you can see, oh, I can trust what she says. She's already done it. Right? That's how you do this. We're building rapport, we're connecting. And I'm showing you, look, I've done this. I do this for you. I've done this before. That's all. We're so simple as humans, right? We just want to know it'll work. We need to feel your confidence and we need to see proof that you can do it. And you can totally, go ahead.
This really helps because I tend to overcomplicate things. I need to, whatever tool I can get to simplify it and streamline it is awesome.
Build your structures. Work with success-oriented women, high achievers, women who want to achieve results. Because you can be like, I was a coach for gymnasts. Okay, talk about success. What does it take for a gymnast to achieve success? And you were that coach? Holy cow. You've got your story right there.
Yeah.
It's ready.
Thank you. Yeah, because that's been one of my hardest things is trying to figure out what my story is. So this is amazing. Thank you so much, Lotus.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be here with you.
Oh, me too. Yeah, the midheaven is a champion of the chart. It's such a champion. It's actually what prompted me to do, along with, well, it kind of prompted me to do the 5-day challenge, and I'll tell you why. You know how I told you my Chiron story? Well, in my progressed chart, the ruler of my midheaven is the sun, which is currently exactly conjunct my Chiron and my Mercury in the house of astrology. And I was like, I think I have to share my story with people. And I think that's part of my career because it's conjunct my midheaven. And I was like, oh my God. And I felt it through every pore of my body. And I got my act together and I put out my vision and y'all are here. So I know how powerful it is because this wouldn't be happening, this event, if I hadn't looked at my chart and read my own midheaven, my own progressed midheaven and my own natal midheaven. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
And then going down to the IC, like you were saying, it's that tiny little black line just above the symbol for Libra.
Right.
Right? It's not way over where the IC is, but it's actually kind of in the middle of the Libra.
Well, there's 2 black dots. Right?
Oh, I see. There is one right on the line.
There's your IC and you see it.
Okay.
You
So that
busy?
other black
Uh-huh.
line is the A0
That's your
asteroid.
Psyche. Psyche asteroid is A0.
Right. Yep. Okay. And
That
then
higher.
Neptune is the blue.
Neptune is similar to Psyche. They're both higher octaves of Venus, which means they're about sort of that unconditional love. Yeah.
So that's what I need to work on is unconditional love to heal.
Well, ironically, your IC, the ruler of your IC, the planet that rules your IC, what planet rules Libra?
Venus.
Yep. And where is your Venus?
Trying to remember the symbol for Venus.
Circle with the cross. Green. It's green.
Oh yeah, it's in the 6th house. We already talked about it.
Yeah.
So how do we get over there?
So Venus rules both Libra and Taurus. It rules
Okay.
both your MC and your IC. So it becomes
Okay.
really easy to
Yeah.
tap in and tune into. That Venus in Capricorn is good for healing both your childhood stuff and your midheaven expression. So learning to have structure in your life. It also could mean that you need to heal a relationship to a woman in your past who maybe wasn't loving enough, because Saturn can be restriction of feminine love and it's conjunct your Venus. So there could have been a woman in your childhood where you maybe got a lot of discipline and a lot of, teaching and training, but maybe not enough love. So it could speak to healing your feminine side.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons.
It's really helpful when that Venus or when your MC and IC are ruled by the same planet, because then you can it's going to help you to focus on those energies either way you do it. Wow. Way to go, everyone. I know we've been on here for quite a minute now, but time has flown, hasn't it? It just flies when you're doing this work.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lotus. That was
Yeah. Got to start somewhere. Start. All right, Yola, you've been holding. How can we help you? How can we support you?
Hi, my love. I am actually enjoying this. It's a nice recap for me, and I'm going to attempt something because, it's like, I haven't done it for a while. So interestingly enough, when I'm looking at my MC, it's, I'm correct, 23 degrees in Taurus. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it's funny because all my life, as you know, I thought I was Taurus until I learned from you that I'm an Aries. So now I was so familiar with everything that goes about Taurus. So now when I'm trying to interpret this MC in Taurus, all these qualities that I knew about being a Taurus. So the beautiful things, the stability, the financial and all that stuff, and permission to have. But I'm finding, I just Googled stuff, so it's like the mission is to leave a lasting legacy. And those are like my words exactly on my purpose statement that I created, not knowing anything about astrology. So I would love you to just give me a little bit more, because again, this is so interesting to me that I just intuitively joined this challenge, just basically because I love you, right? But the point is that I'm learning stuff that even though I spent the entire weeks with you. This is like a new approach from the purpose like angle. So if I was like a newbie, if you looked at this, what would you give me? Like a couple pointers, because I already read up, but I'm always like relying on your interpretations because it's very special.
Yeah, so I definitely channel, I think, when I'm doing these interpretations.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I've been learning this since I was 15, and so I'm unconsciously competent with all the planets and all the signs and the houses. And then that allows my intuitive self to channel for you. So when you get on the floor with me, and as you become more advanced with this work and you're working with other people, you'll find that spontaneous flashes of awareness and intuition come through for whoever steps up to work with you. It's so beautiful and exciting when this happens. So looking at your MC, the very first thing that I'm just like, wow, is I ask myself, well, what planet rules Taurus?
It's Venus.
Yeah.
So,
And
so it's all about money, possessions, worth, values.
let's go back to this slide. Because I feel like sometimes a picture, every time, is worth a million words, isn't it?
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
So this slide is about the second house, but the second house is ruled by Venus. Okay. So Venus represents beauty. It's the feminine symbol, right? If you ask, well, what symbol symbolizes women, you're going to see the planet Venus. So if your midheaven is so close to Venus, it tells me that your purpose or your career or your offering or what you do would be very geared toward the divine feminine, towards women and towards feminine energy and to the beautiful things of life, right? Beautiful surroundings and flowers and decadent meals. And because Venus relates to all the senses, Venus loves to celebrate all of the senses, right? The things that we see, like beautiful flowers and clothing, the things that we hear, beautiful music, the things that we feel on our bodies, like massage. Like Taurus is very sensual, it's very physical. And so one reason you might really love the access consciousness and the body processes is that you get to be physical with them. So you really love engaging your body, right? With massage, with healing techniques where you're touching your body and maybe you're assisting other people. You could also be assisting women to get more beautiful, right? To assist them with their appearance, to assist them with becoming more beautiful inside and out, and also with money, because Venus is the billionaire planet. And so when you have Venus very close to your midheaven, it means that you have an opportunity in this life to become very successful with your career and make a lot of money.
Yeah, I remember that from the class. I remember you said that. That piece stuck with me. But now with this awareness that, something that I lived all my life with, like the Taurus, and I am so much more aligned with Aries. But to have that a purpose actually is very close to what I lived all my life. This is fascinating, that I don't have to divorce this Taurus thing at all.
Right.
It's still with me.
Exactly. Yeah. And for all of you out there who have to change your sun sign because of this new 13 sign system, we're not just our sun sign. We have, 10 planets, 10 asteroids, and all the different houses that are different signs. And so more than likely your sun sign will be playing a role in your life in some capacity, in some way.
Yeah. And what did this powder represents in your collage, the white powder?
The salt of the earth.
Oh, salt of the earth. Okay.
Taurus is that quintessential salt of the earth energy where it's very, would you say like salt is the quintessential ingredient to almost every meal?
For me, 100%. 100%. I could not imagine. Yeah, without. Yeah.
Right. And so
Sure.
Taurus loves flavor. Taurus loves the flavor of life. Like they love to taste all the different experiences, taste the different flavors of life. They like to feel and experience everything that the earth has to offer that's sensual. So you really live life. Your purpose is really about living life through your senses, what you feel, what you taste, what you touch, what you sense, and allowing the beauty of life to move through you and also act through you as a portal to other people's purpose by allowing them and encouraging them and guiding them back into the beauty of who they are.
This is amazing because this is like, do you know, tomorrow I have my workshop on purpose, and this is exactly what I want to ignite in people. Like I'm doing this for slightly different angle than you do, but this is such a beautiful, like a knot, like a connection, like a transition, you know. And who knows, maybe in the future I will include, when I get a little bit more proficient with these readings, I'll include little purpose, you know, touches for people from astrology point of view. But yeah, this is 100%. I believe that, you know, if we have this true deep purpose in life and we build this lasting legacy, that at the end of our lives, we won't have regrets because we were so congruent with what we came to this earth to do. And I want to ignite this in people. I want to make them like live this is like my mantra, like live your life every day to the fullest before you run out of time. So yeah, this is so amazing. Thank you. And
Yeah.
and out of curiosity, I remember we also, I know we're not talking about IC, but I remember how shocked I was when I found my IC in Ophiuchus. And I know that's very deep and dark and like whatever, but that brings all that stuff that I have interest and that gives me goosebumps all over my body, because what we talked about Chiron yesterday, like, so I am starting to understand that it's a very complex nature that, you know, you can't just, there's so many shades of gray in between. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it allows you to have the depth, right? All of the deep transformational spiritual things you experienced allows you to have the depth to go forward in your life.
So awesome. So awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, 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 yes. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. And so that is what we're doing, is we're giving you, I mean, we could stop right there. You know, we could stop with just the MC and the IC and the sun sign and the ascendant. And would you agree, you've already had kind of a huge moment, right? You've kind of had some little breakthroughs, haven't you? Just with that, just with the MC and the IC, right? Anyone have any questions about their MC or their IC? Angelique, do you have any questions? I know you're still out there.
No, because I'm the same as Yola.
Oh, interesting.
My MC is, and then my IC was the same as someone else, so I got all the information I needed.
Awesome.
It worked out well.
Good, good, good.
Plus,
good.
I Googled a bit, but I was listening intently when you were talking to Yola, because I'm like, oh, that's me too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's nice that technology, right? There's so much technology available to us. And tonight, Mars, the planet of action, is in a polarity to the sun, or to Uranus, which is the sign of technology. So Mars is energy, Uranus is technology. So we feel really like excited about utilizing our technology tonight. Like it's probably a fun night. Like you check your phone and you're watching me and you're Googling this. And it's like that kind of energy is like super highlighted with tonight. And so
none of the Google readings are giving the lotus flavor, you know, like you can Google the shit out of the internet, but none of this is the channeling of lotus. So let's be real.
Thank you, Yola. Yeah, well, I've been practicing for lifetimes to get this right for y'all. It's so much fun for me.
I agree with Yola. You're really special the way you do this, Lotus.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, you know, the next three parts are the North and South Node, the Atma Karaka, and identifying the second in command planet. So go ahead and write those down. But what I would like to do now, it's getting a bit late here, and we can come back to all of this stuff. With your permission, do I have your permission to reveal the system that has given me and my family freedom? It has allowed me to explore my purpose. Would you give me permission to reveal to you this system?
Absolutely.
So I have an opportunity for you all. And I've been building this opportunity for a long time, feels like lifetimes. Whew. And I'm really excited about what I'm about to share with you, because I know that what I'm about to share with you is not something you are going to be able to find most anywhere else. What I'm about to share with you is a system that was passed down to me from someone very near and dear to my heart. And that's my mom. So I didn't mention this to you all last night when I shared with you my story about healing the Chiron wound. But in this past life that I shared with you all, this was my mom. And she was an oracle in the village as well. And she was training me to become an oracle. And in that lifetime, I didn't get to fulfill my purpose. I lost the ability to share my gifts. And she lost the opportunity to teach me. And I just learned, I always wondered since I was little why my mom wanted me to learn things like astrology and feng shui and healing and health. I mean, you guys, I was just being taught stuff from such an early age from her that, like, I remember getting so annoyed, like, why does she keep teaching me? Like, I just want to go play, right? And gradually I started to be like, you know, it's really beautiful what she's sharing with me. And I'm really grateful. And like, I moved away to college and I could do feng shui for where I lived, and it helped me with my business and it helped me with my class. And I was like, this is really kind of cool. Like, I'm really glad she taught me this. Right? Like, she knew somehow that by sharing with me these things, it would really support me. Yeah. And so when I realized last week, doing this deep dive into healing the Chiron wound and asking, you know, was this my mom in the past life as well? And it was a yes. And I could feel it in my body that it was a yes. And she was who taught me astrology. She taught it to me. And so this time that I'm going to teach, that I want to share this opportunity of going deeper with me and learning the system of astrology on a deeper level from what she's taught me, is more than just teaching a course to me. What this is a claiming back of my power. What this is a claiming back of an opportunity to finally fulfill my purpose. And to fulfill my purpose by assisting you in fulfilling yours, because that's the role of the oracle, right? That is the role of the guide and the intuitive, is to support her community and those closest to her with her connection to source, in connecting back to their connection to source. I'm simply here to be a mirror and reflect back to you the highest and best and brightest parts of who you are, and help to bring light into those shadowy places so that they can finally shift and they can finally transform. Okay? And so I have a course, and I'm going to be sharing, well, I'm going to be going deeper on everything that we've already learned together. And it's going to be over the next 6 weeks. Okay? It's going to be over the next 6 weeks, and we're going to take our charts and we're going to create a really intimate growth container, which would you agree that the last 5 days have been a powerful activation? How many of you feel like you've started to shift something on an incredibly deep level that you didn't even know was possible to shift? You didn't even know it was there, and you didn't even know what to do about it. But how many of you are starting to feel some energy move? Yeah, start to really move. Yeah, yeah. But it's not enough. It's not enough because it needs to keep going, right? There are layers and layers to unlock and unwind around who we are and our purpose. And I've gotten you as far as I can get you for the last 5 days. But it would be wrong of me not to offer you a future opportunity. It would be mean of me to give you a glimpse into what's possible and then say, okay, have fun. I'll see you next lifetime. Because I know that there are still things you're learning, right? And it's like a mama ducky abandoning her baby ducklings. You know, it's like, okay, where'd mama go? It's like one day I was sitting at the creek and mama ducky is swimming up the creek and her little babies come down and they're looking for her. And I was like, I felt for them because they were looking for mama ducky. I was like, I was like, where's your mama? Right? Where's your mama? And she, you know, your little duckling just found you. Right? And so I have to share this opportunity with you. And it's going to be the next 6 weeks. And it's going to be a lot of powerful information. And now I've been on the fence about how many classes I want to do with you all. I want to do 6 classes in 6 weeks. I want to do 12 classes with you in 6 weeks. And so the option is really open for whoever decides to join me in this powerful purpose, soul purpose activation over the next 6 weeks. If you're going to want to do 12 or if you're going to want to do 6, I'm going to leave that door open. Because some of you are like, I want to do the full 12 package. I want to do all 12. And if so, we'll talk about that and we'll create that for you. Or if you want to just do 6, right? You just want to do it once a week. That's what you can commit to. I'm going to leave that door open because I know that you're all at different places. Time, commitment. So I want to create something that's going to fit for each of you. Now, what is the value of my over 20 years and a childhood and the lifetimes that I've gone through learning this information to bring it to you? If I could charge you the real value of what I have to offer, and for any of you really, right, to share your offerings, it's truly priceless, isn't it? Yeah, I could charge you $260,000. That'd be great. Maybe one day. But I'm not going to do that today because we live in a world that has certain reality checks in terms of pricing and timing and all those things. And I want you to be able to afford and have access to my teaching and for the information that comes through me. So maybe I could half that. I could just do 150,000. Wow. If we were to really quantify the value of what each of our gifts is worth, it would be way more than this, wouldn't it? It'd be way more. Each of us and the true soul gifts that we have to offer and the value we bring to people's lives, it'd be way more. But I'm not going to do that today because I know that we're still learning how to manifest that kind of money in this group. One day, maybe one day, I'll charge that much. Probably will. I'm not going to charge 25,000. Okay. And that would be, you know, if we did 12 classes and you worked with me and the value you got out of it, how much value is it to know what your Chiron wound is? And to begin to learn the energy clearing tools to clear it finally. Once and for all, out of your DNA and out of your body. What do you think the value of clearing your Chiron wound would be? Yeah, pretty high. I mean, it would change everything in your life, wouldn't it? If that's like the root core wound and you could clear that. but I'm not going to charge that much because we are living in a reality with time, space, money, and what is real, right? And I could charge 10,000. And probably in the next couple of years, as I keep going with my training, I probably will. I probably will, because this is worth that much. What we're doing and the ability to connect into our purpose and our higher self, I would charge that much, probably in a year, right? After I do this more times and I have more people who desire to learn. Let me ask you this. If money was no concern, and you could choose whatever you wanted to choose and do whatever you wanted to do, would you do this course? Would you go deeper with me? Would you allow me to facilitate and guide you into truly mastering the astrological chart? Truly mastering it to the point where you could put out an ad advertising a session and make between $100 and $200 an hour. Did you know that? The average rate that an astrologer charges for a session is like $120 an hour. An hour. Half an hour sometimes. I know some astrologers who charge $100 for 30 minutes. Can you imagine that? I mean, if you're someone who's wanting to start a business, that's a starting rate. A lot of astrologers charge quite a bit more. So if money was no concern and you really wanted to learn astrology to the degree that you could actually go out and charge money for your services, would you sign up with me to go farther? It's a system, right? It's a system. Once you step into this course, you will have the live classes. We will be in our own private container, our own private group, where we can start to share and reveal what we're learning with each other. We can meet up after class and do, study groups. You can have all the support you need. Plus, I'm going to throw in 1 or 2 free sessions with me. I'm still working on all the details, but you will get free sessions with me. So with all these live classes, with one-on-one attention from me, with all this training, and with healing, we're going to go deep into reading how to read the chart, decoding the PowerPoints, unlocking the elements, the sign, and the magic. And all of these are actually going to be, these modules are going to be contingent on who signs up for the class and what you want to study. And so what I'm proposing to add in to these 6 classes, it's either going to be 6 classes or 12 classes. And I want you to decide how much you want to commit to this. You want to do 6 classes a week? You're going to get farther. You're going to have greater skill. You're going to have greater connection. You're going to be able to start really reading charts for people. We're going to start practicing reading charts. If you decide to do 12 classes with me, which is 2 classes per week, that is going to be like crazy level of competency after those 6 weeks. You'll be able to read an astrological chart. You will be able to, and actually I need to change the slide I'm showing you. There it is. This is the one. Yeah. So if you decide to do the 12 classes with me, what we will do is we will go through each of the houses, the planets, the signs, how to utilize a chart to pinpoint disease in the body. And I will also teach you the power of muscle testing and how to do ancestral energy clearing. So not only will we be diving into how to read an astrological chart, the signs, the planets, how to start reading it. What do you look at first? Did you notice how helpful that was? Have you ever heard about finding a planetary ruler before? I never knew that was a thing until I learned it and started teaching it. And it's so powerful for revealing purpose. So we're going to go deep into all of the houses, all the planets, all the signs. And we're going to learn my energy clearing tool and how to start testing to clear the blockages. And I've never done this before. But we have a map and I have tools for energy clearing. Hi. And so I thought, why don't I put them together? Because I'm attracting healers and I'm attracting people who want to learn how to heal their lives and heal their Chiron wounds. Okay. So if that's something that speaks to you, if you'd like to join me and join this course, where we're going to go deep, there's going to be one bonus class that's actually going to be 13. And you can join me for 6 of them. And that will be half the rate, or you can join me for all 12. And if you join me for all 12, you will be fully ready to get out there and start doing readings 100%. And even if you do the 6 classes, after as much as you've already learned, you'll probably be ready to start getting out there and sharing readings and making some money. Who would like to make some money with your hobby? Who would like to Yeah, the children are saying yes. All right. Who would like to be able to take something you love, do it from home, follow your passion, and make money while you're doing it? Yeah. Yeah. I love that little hand raising. That just makes my heart so happy. So those of you that commit to it and sign up tonight, you're going to get a special rate. Okay. So those of you who want to sign up for the 12-week class, I'm going to ask that you email me or message me tonight. And for the next 24 hours, what would normally be a $2,000 investment, okay? $2,000 investment. For the next 24 hours, I am going to be selling it or sharing it with you at the discounted rate. Goodness. One second. At a discounted rate. You're going to have to message me to find out what it is. And those of you that sign up in the next 24 hours will get this discounted rate, which will be approximately 20% off of that rate. Let me get a number. I want to give you a number, but I'm weird about numbers. And I want this number to be really special. And I haven't fully figured out. Are you willing to wait for me for a moment while I figure out what this number is? Okay. So 1, 1, 8. Okay. You'll get it for hold on. It won't be 2,000. I'll be offering it for 1,500 tonight. For the next 24 hours, if you want to sign up for the 12 classes, which is basically like an astrological certification course. where after those 12 classes, I will invite you to go out and do 10 readings. And when you submit your 11th reading to me, I will certify you in my process. Because I want to make sure that when you're out there and when you're doing this work, that you're getting everything. I want to make sure that the people I send out there to do this work, they're doing it right. Okay. And so for tonight, for the next 24 hours, I will be offering this for $1,500. And if you only want to do 6 classes, I will offer you half off of $1,500 because I want this to be doable, right? I want you to be able to join us. So if you could only do 6 classes, that's still going to help you tremendously. Okay. If you want to do the full 12, it'll be $1,500 tonight for the next 24 hours. And then it's going to go back up to $2,000. Okay. And then from there, it will be half off of that $2,000. Okay. Sophie, you had a question.
Yeah, Lotus, I would love to do the 12 sessions, but I have a question concerning the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you're in Germany.
Yeah.
So I know that one of the classes will be on Saturday. It'll be
Okay, that
at,
would be perfect.
yeah, in the AM between 10 and 11. We can figure out which works better for you. Is that a doable time for you?
I mean, like at the weekend, it's okay, even at night. But Monday to Friday is a little bit tricky because I have to work.
Okay.
But we can work it out.
Okay. Yeah, we can figure it out. I'm pretty flexible. So I want to make sure that everyone can do it time-wise. So, we'll get everyone signed up. Class is going to be starting as long as everyone is able to start next Saturday. It's pretty quick, right? It's a pretty quick start time. And it's going to be through the holiday months. So we'll make allowances for the holidays. Like we might take off a day near Thanksgiving, a day near Christmas if we need to. But I thought, what a good way to finish out 2023 with going through all the 12 houses and all the 13 signs of the zodiac, kind of like a year in review, right? A year in review. And so, Sophie, if there's an issue with the second day, I'm happy to meet with you on Sunday, right? So you and I could do Saturday, Sunday if you need to, right? I'm happy to meet with you a second time if that weekday time that we're going to do for the group is difficult. So we can figure it out. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
But it would be 2 days a week, right?
Yes, 2 days a week.
Yeah, so I think the one day during the week should be fine too. But we'll talk and we'll work it out.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Thank you so much, Lotus.
Yeah. I am so happy to be sharing this with you all and to know that I'm going to be putting astrologers out there who know the real stuff, right? You're not just telling them stuff that's based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago. You're going to be sharing with them where the stars actually are. And look how accurate it is. I mean, y'all, we are on the precipice of this astrology hitting the mainstream. Can you imagine how much work and business you will get as this becomes known, right? As people start to learn about this accurate system, and you're going to be the people to bring it out to the world. How incredible is that? Just so amazing. Yeah. Sophie, I'm excited. I think looking at your chart, I'm like, oh my, I actually get this like electrical shiver when I think about people who are really like meant to do astrology reading when they're going to do it. It's super exciting. Yes, Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, it was similar about the second day in time because I have another coaching program I'm already in on Mondays. I have to be there from 12 to 4. So it kind of depends on that second day. That's
Yeah.
Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
I'm sort of thinking about doing it on Thursdays.
Okay.
Thursdays and Saturdays for
Thursdays.
the main class,
Okay.
and possibly during it during the daytime, but it really depends. So the second day, how about this?
Thursday's a good day.
Yeah, we get everyone signed up, and then we decide, okay, that second day, okay, Saturday's set. Saturday's going to be between 10 and 11 on the AM. And then the second day we can make flexible for people, you know. Okay, so yes, good question, Angelique. So Angelique was like, okay, those of you watching the replay who maybe are going to get to this video in a couple days, the deadline for those of you watching the replay, not for those of you here, you have 24 hours. The deadline is going to be Sunday at midnight. Yeah, so it's going to be just a couple days. You have Friday, Saturday to catch up on the replay. And then that's the deadline for getting it at this incredible rate. It'll probably never be offered at this rate again, because 12 weeks and a one-on-one session with me. So I'm going to offer 100% one session with me. Now, depending on how many people sign up, I'm going to do 2 sessions. Okay. It just depends. If like 10 or 20 people sign up, I don't know if I have the bandwidth to teach 2 classes and 2 sessions for 6 weeks. Just, just to be very human about what I can really offer energetically. But if it's a smaller group, I will throw in a bonus session with me for those of you who sign up. So that will be 2 sessions plus the 12 classes. Plus, you will have access to me and asking questions through the entire training. That's like 24-hour access to me, which is crazy. Okay, it's crazy. Like, I'm getting used to it, but it's like a constant amount of questions, right? It's just always questions. And I want to be there for you, though. I want to be available for your growth. And how nice is it to be able to reach out and ask your instructor a question? Because you're going along, you're studying the chart, you're like, what do I do next? How do I do this? And it's like, you think you got it. You think you're getting it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just can't go further. Okay, put a message into the group, message me. And what's really cool is that you'll get to be able to practice on each other, right? You'll start to be able to, oh, hey, let's meet up and let's talk about each other's charts in a really nice, supportive environment. And that will really enable you to get your questions answered and to really dive deep into going farther. I want you to come out of this training and be running, like, for the new year. Hey, does anyone have New Year's resolutions? Want to get clear on your purpose? I know this system that can point you in the right direction. Wow. That's powerful. And you know what? I love doing readings. I do. But I feel like I'm at this level now where what really excites me is empowering you to be able to do readings for people. Because I'm only one person. And there are a million people more who are following an astrological system that's not even based on the actual friggin' stars. And that kind of makes me mad, because I want them to know what's going on with their lives, right? Don't you want people to have access to their purpose that was given to them at their birth? Doesn't that seem like a friggin' human right to know what the stars were doing at the moment we were born? And there are millions of people out there reading Newsweek and reading the magazine, and they're reading an oracle that's based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago.
Lotus, how do we get
Yeah.
the Prometheus program?
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. So here's a really cool thing. Prometheus software is a decent amount of money, like $250 or something. So when you sign up with me, I have a deal with the company. So when you sign up with me for this course, you're going to get half off of the Prometheus software. So you sign up and I will just send in an email to my person, my teacher, and he will get you your software half off. Yeah, I think Yola, you bought it. You have it. Super great program. What's cool that I didn't do with Yola's class that I plan to do with our class is I'm going to have all of you get that software immediately. And so through the whole course, you'll be learning how to use it. And Yola's class didn't get that. They had to get it at the end of the class. And then they were all kind of stuck and not knowing how to figure it out. So I want you all to have access to it. And that brings up another thing, which is that Yola and those out there who have already completed this masterclass with me, I'm going to offer you half off of the $1,500 to attend for all 12 classes. Okay. So if you've already graduated and attended my masterclass, this one or the last two, you will get this masterclass for half off. And that will be forever in the future. Those of you who attend my masterclass will always be able to attend the next one for half off. Because I don't want to charge you full rate. That doesn't seem fair.
That sounds fair, I think. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I want you to be there. I want you to get this info. I want you to get this training. I have to have, this amount I'm charging will cover my expenses and pretty much nothing more. And that's really what I'm here for. One day I hope to make, sizable income from doing my work. But right now, if I can just cover my expenses and live and be able to do my work, I am happy. I've looked at myself and I've asked myself, maybe just go get a regular job. And my soul goes into a fit and says, no, you have a purpose and you are here to assist others with their purpose. You get back out there and you share your gift. And I literally can't get another job. I've tried. I'm like, I'm sorry. I have a purpose and my purpose is louder than anything else. And one day the income, the money, and the work will all line up. And but for now, this will cover my expenses. I will be set, I will be cared for, and thus I can care for you and give you my time, my attention, and the intention. And this is amazing because did you all know tonight is the eve of the new moon? The new moon is tomorrow, and we're setting the intention to start this class. We're setting the intention to be able to read an astrological chart, to rock your life, to rock the world. Just think about what you'll be able to do with this. You could sit down with a family. You could sit down with a friend. You could find out their purpose. One of the things I'm going to cover, one of my favorite things to cover, is relationship and love readings. How do you do those? How do you identify love in a partnership? And Sophie kind of got to experience this with me with theory. Sophie, what was that like? Was that helpful?
Lotus, I need to sign off, but I am gonna sign up for this because I love you, and so I have to prepare for my class tomorrow. I have a masterclass.
Yeah,
the challenge tomorrow. So I stuck
moon.
with you because I was really curious. However, you know, just because the midweek class probably not going to work for me either. So maybe I hop with if you do something on Sunday with
Sophie.
Sophie, maybe I'll do that with you, because you know, this time again, I would love to be part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But during the week, it's very tough. So we talk, but you know, just consider that this is my email to you, because I'll be so busy right now that I can't. Okay, but I'm interested. Okay.
Awesome.
Love you. Sending everyone love. Thank you so much. Ciao. Bye.
So those of you that are interested, you can email me at blossomwithlotusnow@gmail.com, and I will send you a link to sign up. Okay. And class is going to start next Saturday. And what day is that going to be?
The 18th.
It'll be the 18th. Okay. At
Blossom with Lotus Now.
blossomwithlotusnow@gmail.com. And again, you have 24 hours to get the $1,500 rate. After that, it will go up to $2,000. And those of you watching the replay, you will have until Sunday at 12 midnight to sign up at this rate. And I'm super, super duper excited to share this work with you all. And if you have not had a free one-on-one, 15-minute, 30-minute reading to look at your astrological chart to find out what your True the Stars 13 sign is, you can also email me at blossomwithlotusnow@gmail.com for that free session. Also, if you know someone out there who's never heard of this work and you'd really like them to experience it, you can email me there or send them to that email. Okay. Any questions, comments, feedback, anything you'd like to share? Yeah.
I just want to thank you, Lotus, for the time and the effort and the energy that you've put into this, the truths that you shared with us, like how real you've been. And just really, it's so obvious. You speak from the heart, you share deep knowledge and with the love for sharing it. And I just wanted to thank you with all my heart for everything that you've shared with us this week. I really appreciate it so much, the time you've put into this. And it's a real gift to the world, and it's a real gift to anybody who takes your class to be able to delve into this and help other people. And so thank you. These little people are very loud, so
thank you so much. Can I say hi to them? Hi, Megs. Hi, Meg. Are you Xavier, or what's your name? Ezekiel. Oh, nice to see you. I'm so glad you guys are hanging out with us.
Because they're going to stay up bedtime. So
they get to stay up late. Yeah.
Anyways, I can tell that your love for humanity and sharing your gifts, and I want to thank you. And I'm going to run and put these guys to bed.
Okay, we love you, Angelique. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you with us, and your heartfelt words have touched my heart again and again. Thank you. Aloha. All right. So, any more questions out there? Any comments, any shares, any takeaways you would like to share before we finish up tonight's class? It's been another long one. Go ahead, Lynn.
I also just want to say thank you so much. You've inspired me to just, learn this. I didn't really know what we were going to get into, but it's been just such an amazing week. I want to say like so much more, but I'm so sleepy that I can't really find my words. But just thank you so much, Lotus. It's been great.
Yeah, my pleasure. And it's amazing what's here, what's hidden in the depths of this work. It's truly incredible. And I'm so grateful to share it with you all. And I'd like to really invite you, if there's anyone who you think would be inspired to learn what we just learned, The links up, my 5-day challenge will be up for a bit longer. If they want to go in and watch the replay, please feel free to invite them to take a look. I know this isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if there's someone you're like, oh, this would fit, they would love this, send them our way so that we can share with them this kind of life-changing, miraculous information. Right? Yeah, truly. Just every time you say, oh, that's totally right, I just go, oh my God. Right? It just blows my mind. So thanks for helping to show this to the world, right? That when you follow the actual stars and where they are, it's real. Astrology is real. And that's why for thousands of years, the wise men, right? The wise men followed that star to Jesus, right? And what does that mean if it's like an allegory? It means following the star to our truth, right? Following the star to our highest self and to our highest consciousness and to our highest presence and beingness. And that's really what the journey of the astrological chart is. Each of the houses, it's a journey. It's a journey to discovering who we really are, like the seashell. And that's what this 12-day course is going to be, is following that seashell, starting with the I am, going through our relationships and our family and our friends. And it was amazing. In the last course, I taught all of the houses, how it was like each week as we studied the house, we would go through a lesson or a journey through that energy. And it was sort of amazing and sort of incredible. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here and for sharing your truth, sharing your chart, sharing your soul and yourself and your presence. And it's been an absolute honor to share this with you all. I feel like a little family now. I'm like, oh, I don't want this to end, you know? So I will be continuing to offer free events, as well as I do have another offer on the table for those of you who don't feel ready to dive into the mastery class. And that is, if you would like to join my community and do a once or twice a month event where we can do Q&A and you can ask me questions and we can talk about the current astrology, I will be offering a membership. So if that's something that speaks to you at a much, much lower rate, you can also email me at blossomwithlotusnow@gmail.com, and we can include you in that group and set it up. And that will be beginning in the next month or so. So feel free to reach out if that's something that you'd like to stay a part of the community. And those of you that join the master class in the 12-day class, you will automatically get access to that group that will meet once or twice monthly for Q&A. And that will be a full year membership for free. So that's additional value for you. Yeah. Yeah. So after you graduate, you can keep coming and learning and asking questions and sharing your success stories, because that's going to be really cool when you start doing your readings and you start practicing, hearing about your success stories with your clients. Like, oh, we had a client today and we looked at their north node and their south node and their purpose, and it was so amazing. So anyways, I see Sophie is ready for bed. She's been such a champion, such a warrior. What time is it? 5 o'clock?
Yeah, 5
Oh
o'clock.
my God, you
But
are
it's the
amazing.
weekend. It's
It's the
fine.
weekend. Okay, good.
Thank
That
you so much,
reminds me.
Lotus.
Yeah.
It's been so inspiring.
You're so welcome. So I'm just going to put my email in the chat.
Lotus, for the
That's-
membership to be included, do you have to sign up for the 12 weeks or the 6 or 12? Or
Yeah,
have
so
you decided?
if you're signing up for the 12-week class, the membership will be included. Okay?
Got it.
So go ahead and email me tonight.
Okay.
And let me know you're going to join us. for the 12 class, the 6-week 12 class. It's actually going to be 13 classes because we're 13 signs. So I'll throw in a bonus class there at the end. Yeah. And you have till 24 hours. Sign up and let me know. You get the $1,500 rate, and you'll get a lot of access with me, and you'll get those 12 classes, and you'll get access to a once or twice monthly membership event where we will be sharing more information about this True the Stars system, asking me questions. It was great to have your questions answered, right? Like, that was probably pretty helpful. And so I thought, what a great opportunity to share that with you all. Yeah, continue to. Oh, the blog. I think I was giving you my website and my email. That's how my brain is working right now. So just go ahead and go to Blossom with Lotus now at gmail.com to secure your seat in the 12 class, master class, and it will fill up. And I can only, probably accept between 10 and 13 people. So with all the people watching the replay, and if anyone shares this with anyone, please make sure to reach out and secure your seat so you can make sure to be there. I don't want to, have you not sign up and then not be able to join it. So yeah, please reach out, please sign up, and please let me know if you have any questions, and I will get you the link to register, and class begins next Saturday, November 18th. And it's going to be a great journey traveling the zodiac wheel into the holidays and into the new year, so that next year you're going to get ready. You're going to be ready to start working with clients and maybe starting your new business in 2024. How cool is that? Start the year with a friggin' woo, a celebration. So I'm excited. I can't wait to share more with you all. And yeah, please message me any questions, any comments. I would love to hear your feedback, your takeaways in the group over the last 5 days. What were your biggest moments? What were your ahas? What did you love? So that everyone else can hear about what we've been doing in here. Because this has been a powerful, intimate gathering. Yeah. All right, awesome. So I want to let you all go so you can rest and rejuvenate and restore. So any final questions, comments, anything you want to share before I send you off into the beautiful star-filled eve to dream about your purpose and creating your purpose, and perhaps going into this 12 class training. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so amazing. Can't wait to have you all there. Any questions, any feedback? Go ahead,
How much
Nancy.
how much is the cost for the Prometheus software?
Okay, so Prometheus is before my discount, I think in the 200, 250 range. And then after you, if you sign up to my course, it will be half off. So it will be around 150.
Okay. I'll send any other questions I have with
Okay.
my
Thank
email.
you, Nancy. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, anything else before we sign off and let you all go to sleep and get some good rest and rejuvenation?
Just wanted to say thank you. Thank you. It's been an awesome training, and it's been a real it was a gift that I was not expecting, that gives and gives. So thank you.
So welcome. It's been beautiful to watch you blossom. And that's why I named my business Blossom Lotus, because my biggest heartfelt dream and goal and desire is to blossom and to see all of you blossom as well.
I just want to add to that. Can't add too much because everybody said everything that I feel too. So I guess I'll just add that you are so precious, and the way you've handled everybody, you've made us all feel like a part of your mission and your family. And I think we've grown to love each other too, just being on Zoom together through you, because of the love that you show for all of us. And I think you've also just given us all a new vision for our future. And there's a lot to unpack there, a lot to unpack. So thank you doesn't even suffice. The words, I don't feel like even begin to sniff what you've given to us this week, and the bigness of your heart that's been shared with all of us. And just want you to know that we receive it, and we are blessed, and we thank you. What a gift and what an honor it's been to be here. So thank you.
Oof. You are some beautiful souls telling beautiful testimony, and thank you so much. I'm just receiving all that love, and thank you. And yes, I'm here for the evolvement of this earth, for all of us growing into our highest and best. That's why I'm here. I know that's why a lot of you are here too. And I'm so grateful. I'm so honored. And I'm so filled with love and joy that we've been able to do this together and create. And thank you from the depths of my heart for being here, showing up, opening yourself up. And it is the gift that keeps giving. Love is the gift that keeps giving. So may we all have that love, and that intention, and that connection. Bless you. Woo! Yeah. And go forwards in our life with love and joy and blessings.
Thank you.
I love you all. I wish you a beautiful night, a beautiful rest of your day, and a beautiful future. Please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. And I see you all as family, and I'm so grateful that we all got to come together in the last 5 days. It's been a huge gift and healing for my heart and my world. And I thank you all so much. Ladies, I love you. Go with God, go with Source, go with the greatness of who you are, and have a beautiful night.
That's love and light.
Aloha.
Mhm.